Hello, world. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is Wednesday, the epicenter of yet another very, very busy broadcast week, October 8th. And we have a great guest with us today on the Shannon Joy Show. In just a few minutes, we are going to be bringing in, once again, Peter Schiff. Has been right on so many things, particularly about precious metals, currency manipulation, and the unwavering law of natural markets for over 2 decades. He's a regular on the Shannon Joy Show, and we're going to be talking about gold making history, topping 4,000 for the very first time. I have a lot to ask Peter Schiff in just a couple minutes, and we're going to be focusing in on all of you. There's a lot of discussion about the investor class and the elite class and the stock market, but I'm concerned about the average American family. Every one of you that are watching or listening today, you're out there, you're struggling. Mainstream media is telling you that the economy is booming, that inflation isn't happening, but you know what's going on in your own home with your own business, and consumers are getting crushed by inflation. It has to do with a lot of different elements. And we're going to be talking about that with Peter Schiff today. Also, how to survive and thrive, right? People can do well in any type of political situation, in any type of economic situation. You just have to have the right information and the courage to do the right thing. We're going to be talking about that with Peter as well. So stay tuned. We're going to bring him in just a couple minutes. The Shannon Joy Show is live on Rumble. We're live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV. So thankful for our partnership with the folks over at Died Suddenly. We are live on the Died Suddenly Twitter account, massive audience over there. And we're growing every day. Of course, it is Wednesday, so we have our special crossover show with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden today. She's going to be joining us right here in the Shannon Joy Show at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, along with Dr. Naomi Wolf. The three of us are going to get together for about 30 minutes to talk about some of the medical and health news of the day. And then we're going to launch right into Mary's show. It is On Call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. And she has a lot to say today about what is going on within the health community and within Washington, D.C. So that's going to be a fabulous show. It is platformed right here on the Shannon Joy Network on Rumble. So make sure you guys stick around for that live show as well. This Friday, we are going to be launching, I'm going to be freestyling. As you all know, I want to spend some time with all of you, the amazing audience of the Shannon Joy Show, particularly those of you here on the Rumble chat. And I see you all on the Rumble chat. Please smash that like button right now, the thumbs up, leave a comment, join the chat, and share this show. It's how we grow every day. Karen Carpenter, 27. I see you on the live chat. You look great. CJP Rumble is with us. We have Mama C 1996. Of course, Guitar Lily is joining us today. And on Friday, I am going to go freestyle. We're going to start right around noon. And we're going to move over into Rumble Premium. If you guys see right here on the live feed to the left, there is a button to press to join Rumble Premium and sign up for Rumble Premium. There are a ton of goodies. You have a commercial-free ad experience, and also you get access to exclusive content. And this Friday, I'm going to launch the Hey Fam Town Hall meeting. It's behind the Rumble paywall, but this is your opportunity. It's kind of a Zoom-style broadcast where I'll be there and you can ask me any questions and we can talk about the news of the week. But I'm actually more interested and hearing from all of you. And this is your opportunity. It's a call-in style show. It's your opportunity to ask me questions, send comments, or just get something off your chest. If there are news stories that you want to see covered, if there are interviews you want me to book, or if you just have ideas about how to resist from the bottom up, how to pursue liberty, how to survive in these crazy times, this is your opportunity to get up, get on the platform, town hall style, and talk to me. We can all talk together. So I'm really excited for that. I am going to be launching that on Friday. Again, it's behind the paywall. So we're going to do a live show for about, and I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes. And then we're going to pop behind that paywall, the Rumble premium paywall for the Hey Fam Town Hall Forum. So you're going to have to sign up for premium. It is a great value. There are so many goodies involved with signing up for premium. So we're going to be talking about that more in the Shannon Joy Show moving forward. Very quickly, before we bring Peter in, I just want to thank one of our sponsors. I don't know about all of you, but if you are unable to sleep at night, like I sometimes am, there's a lot going on in the world today. A lot to stress over, and maybe you have some anxiety. There's nothing worse than laying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, trying to fall asleep, and you are unable to do so. This is why I love Perfect Sleep Max. It's an amazing product, and it combines, what is the key to good sleep? Well, it's melatonin and magnesium. And Perfect Sleep Max actually combines melatonin plus magnesium to relax your muscles and your nervous system and help you to fall asleep fast. But not only will you fall asleep fast, you'll also stay asleep. And the best part is you'll wake up refreshed because they have the L-theanine and GABA. They have dopamine and serotonin promoters. And this just helps you get that perfect night of sleep from Perfect Origins. It's Perfect Sleep Max, and there is a huge deal right now. You can get a free giveaway, a free 3-month supply of Perfect Sleep Max if you go to perfectorigins.com/SJS-PSM. Make sure you use that promo code MIA for 25% off your purchase, but you can sign up for a free 3-month supply of Perfect Origins Perfect Sleep Max. So make sure, I'm going to ask TJ to pop up that URL in the live chat so it's easy for you guys to grab, and also in a comment right under the description right here on the Shannon Joy Show. Again, this is a limited time offer, but it is just an amazing product. It is what I use when I can't fall asleep. So go to perfectsleepmax.com/SJS-PSM. Wish I had a better, easier URL, but it's a little complicated. So we're going to pop that up in the live chat. And yes, I see that LT Oracle of Truth, I started taking magnesium and I'm sleeping sounder 100%. Thank you so much, TJ, for popping that up. And yes, Rumble Premium is $9.99 a month. And you sign up. It's on the left-hand side. There's a little gray button that says Rumble Premium. And you just click that button and that gets you signed up for Rumble Premium, $9.99 a month. This helps the Shannon Joy Show, and it also helps Rumble, who platforms the show. So we are going to be doing those town hall live forums almost, I would say at least 2 or 3 times a month as part of the Rumble Premium Creators Program. So I'm super excited about that. All right, without further ado, I want to get into the interview today. Peter Schiff is with us. He is a market expert, an economist. He has been right about precious metals, currency manipulation, and as I mentioned, the unwavering law of natural markets for over 2 decades. And he joins us today as gold makes history, toppling $4,000 per ounce. This is something that Peter has been predicting for many years. He's been very consistent in his analysis, which is why we use him here in the Shannon Joy Show. There's no sign of gold slowing down either. Without further ado, Peter Schiff is with us. Let's bring him in. You can follow him on Twitter, and also get his analysis at schiffradio.com. That is schiffradio.com. The Peter Schiff taking victory laps, Peter, over the last couple days as more and more institutional investors are saying this is a big signal. This isn't just a flash in the pan. This isn't something that, is short term. This is something that is signaling some major problems within the US markets and markets abroad. How are you doing today? How does it feel to be right about everything?
Well, there's a lot of things that I'm right about that haven't happened yet, but I think that what's happening now in the gold market and silver market, to me, is very reminiscent of what happened with the subprime market in 2007. Because, I had been forecasting for years that subprime was going to blow up. I mean, we organized a hedge fund to short subprime, but for years I was warning about the problems in the housing market. And when everything blew up in '07, Wall Street kind of shrugged it off. And I was still going on financial news talking about the coming financial crisis. And people were laughing it off, and they were just very dismissive of what I had to say. And they didn't see the significance, between what just happened with the subprime market and what was going to happen, in the broader financial system. And I think this is similar, only much bigger. I think what gold is doing now, gold as we speak is about $4,000 and almost $60 in the spot market.
Wow.
Silver is 30 cents away from $50, but these are big moves happening in a short period of time. And what I think this is signaling is that the world is losing confidence in the dollar, and that the dollar's reign as the global reserve currency is coming to an end. And that I think we're going to have a US dollar and a sovereign debt crisis, so not in subprime, but US treasuries next year. And I think what's happening in gold is a harbinger of that. Yet, just like mainstream investors, Wall Street didn't get the warning from the subprime collapse, they're not getting what's happening with gold. And in fact, I was watching on Larry Kudlow last night, and it's funny because, Kudlow is such a cheerleader for any Republican, including, Trump. They're trying to discuss $4,000 gold. And Kudlow is like, well, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why is gold going up? Of course, if Kamala Harris had won, he would know exactly why it's going up. But
that's right.
The whole crew basically said, well, it must be Europeans buying because maybe they're worried about inflation in Europe, and so they're buying gold. But, we don't have to worry about it here because we don't have any inflation. Everything is great. We got a booming economy under Trump. So, what's happening with gold must mean nothing because everything is so great. But what's happening with gold should be telling Kudlow and his crew that what they believe is wrong, that everything is not great. Gold is telling you that it's not great. It's telling you that, central banks don't want to own dollars. They don't want to own treasuries. They'd prefer to own gold. And this is a game changer because the U.S. economy completely depends on the reserve status of the dollar. That's how we can live beyond our means. That's how we can, consume without producing. That's how we can borrow without saving. And I think this is a major thing. And Wall Street is whistling past, this financial graveyard.
Peter, do you think that Larry Kudlow really believes what he's saying? He's not a stupid man. And the analysis that he has made year after year during the Biden administration or during the Obama administration, I mean, they acknowledge the laws of economics and markets when the bad guys are in office. When the so-called good guys are in office, do you think they just turn their brains off? Are they so politically oriented that they think that somehow magically Donald Trump being in the Oval Office with all of, the actions that he's taken is going to defy thousands of years of human history about currency devaluation?
I don't know. the same thing was happening when George W. Bush was president, and I was going on the Kudlow show as a guest, and I would point out these problems, and Kudlow and his regulars, Art Laffer or Stephen Moore, they just thought everything was great because we had tax cuts. Like tax cuts
Right.
solve all the problems, and they don't. In fact, tax cuts can exacerbate the problems, which is what the Trump tax cuts have done, because they just deprive the government of revenue at a time where it needs the revenue. And, the tax cuts that we got from the big, beautiful bill were not the kind of tax cuts that are going to stimulate economic growth. They were consumption oriented, pump priming, Keynesian type cuts. We reduced taxes on tips, on overtime, on Social Security. This is just more spending. It's not going to generate more production. And in fact, the Trump administration has encouraged Americans to squander their resources on crypto industry, on cryptocurrencies, or all kinds of cockamamie companies, rather than productive companies. We're not building factories. We're creating meme coins. And, we can't eat those. We can't do anything with those. So if we spend our resources on meme coins, we have to import all the stuff that we're not producing because we're wasting our time on this nonsense. So the problems are getting worse under Trump. They're not getting better. And that's what gold is telling you. Gold is, the canary in the coal mine, and the canary is dropping dead. Right. And, and all these guys are standing around trying to explain, why he died. Well, maybe he had a heart attack. Maybe everything is fine. They don't want to admit that they need to get the hell out of this mine because they're trying to rationalize what's happening to this canary. And people say, oh, gold's going up. It's just a momentum trade. It's like a meme coin. People are just buying it, because it's going up, without recognizing that gold is not just a normal commodity. It's a monetary metal too. It's a precious metal that has a lot of uses, but one of its primary uses is money. And we may not use it as money today like we have in the past, but central banks do. And gold is now the number 2 reserve asset of central banks. The dollar is number 1. Gold is number 2. The euro used to be number 2, but now gold has surpassed the euro. The next thing is gold is going to surpass the dollar. And
that's wild.
Global central banks are reorganizing to make gold the foundational asset behind their currencies. And they're doing that for a number of reasons. One is, political, because, of what Biden did with this, with Russia, but also they can read the writing on the wall. U.S. deficits are going to run indefinitely. We're never going to get our fiscal house in order. We're going to keep on printing money and creating inflation. And therefore, the dollar cannot be the basis of a reserve system for the rest of, currencies, because you can't back something with something that's so flawed. They need gold.
Do you think that the insane tariff actions taken by the president and just the volume, the arbitrary and kind of capricious nature of a tariff for you and a tariff for you, and we're going to raise them 100%, and then we're going to put it's so unstable and unpredictable. And just recently we have now China for the first time not buying soybeans from the United States of America and from American farmers because of the tariffs that were deployed by President Trump. They're now setting up new supply lines. Those supply lines are strengthening. Here we are 8 months into the Trump presidency, and it's one tariff after another. It's essentially he's throwing them into the arms of another lover, right? Like they used to buy things from the U.S. Now they're saying that it is so friggin' crazy in the U.S. that in order for us to survive, we need to set up new trade alliances and new trade organizations. I mean, the BRICS nations, it seems, are strengthening their alliances and their ties. Do you think that has to do with the runaway gold and investors flocking to gold and silver, by the way, and also precious metals and mining stocks, which you've been talking about. We can talk about in a minute. But do you think that those tariffs have a direct responsibility for some of that?
I think that the tariffs accelerated the situation. Talk about biting the hands that feed you. I think Trump
Right.
angered a lot of our trading partners by vilifying them, by disrupting relationships that have existed for some time. And also, by accusing the world of ripping us off and taking advantage of us, and none of that is true.
Right.
The reality is, we're ripping off the world. We're taking advantage of them. We're living off of their productivity. We're borrowing their savings, and so to the extent that we're now going to say, look, we don't like this relationship. We don't like the fact that you're running these trade deficits. The reason they're running these trade deficits is to accumulate dollars to hold in reserve. The only way they can get dollars is by selling us stuff, because they can't print dollars. Only we can print dollars. So if you want to earn dollars, you have to sell Americans things and get dollars. But now Trump is saying, well, that's taking advantage of us. That's screwing us over. So I think the world is willing to, or wants to now, move away from this system so that they no longer need dollars, and so they no longer have to have trade surpluses with the United States. But what Trump doesn't understand, a lot of other people, is what that means for Americans. It means consumer prices will be much higher than what we've been used to, and interest rates will be much higher than they used to be. So that's going to be a profound diminution of the standard of living of Americans, because everything that they want to buy is going to cost a lot more money, which means Americans are going to not buy a lot of things that they used to buy. And that has dramatic implications for the economy, because a lot of people in America earn a living helping to sell and distribute products that Americans aren't going to be buying anymore because they can't afford them.
Right.
And so there's going to be major collapse in our whole, economy. Our whole consumer-driven economy is going to ground to a halt, because the consumer depends on the producer, and we're not going to have access to what the producers make, because they're not going to need our dollars. They're going to want gold as the reserve, not dollars. Gold is what they're going to be holding, and they don't have to run trade surplus with America to get gold. Unless we're going to pay for our imports with our gold, which we're not doing.
It's crazy. Let's talk about inflation for a minute, because I feel incredibly gaslit by particularly conservative media. Donald Trump, he came out all caps on Truth Social, then on Twitter, best economy ever, golden economy. There's no inflation. And people are screaming at my face that there's no inflation, Peter. And I'm just going to give you my two indexes. Okay. I have a mascara index and I have my house index. All right. In 2000, before the first round of Trump tariffs in his first administration in 2017, I was able to go to the grocery store, and at the checkout line, my favorite mascara, it's L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara. I've been using it since I was a teenager. I continue to use it. I used to be able to get it in the checkout line for, when they'd put it on special, $3.99 per tube. And I'd stock up on them because it was a good deal. It's usually around $5, but I get it for the $3.99 discount. Right after that first round of tariffs, and I'm not sure what the correlation was, but they jacked it up to about $8.99 for my tube of mascara. Okay. All right. Today, my mascara index, $12.99 for a freaking tube of mascara. And it never came down. The price has never gone back to $3.99. It has only gone further and further up. And that's the same for my soap, my lotions, my shampoos, my conditioners, going out to dinner, flights with the kids, and also my home. This is my other index, Peter. I couldn't buy my own house today. I can't afford my own house. If I sold my house and, tried to buy it back, according to what we're making today, I couldn't afford to live in my home with the rate of inflation in housing, which no one's talking about, Peter. No one. I mean, 1,200 square foot houses going for $375,000, $80,000 in my neighborhood. It's insane. Your thoughts on inflation? because I'm so gaslit on it. It's driving me crazy. Go ahead.
Well, look, the idea that there's no inflation is just pure nonsense. Of course, there's high inflation. Gold would not be over 4,000 if there was no inflation.
Right.
But it's not just gold and silver prices that you can see, but you mentioned your mascara is going up, and almost everything. I mean, a lot of us don't really pay attention to the prices, so it's hard to see. But you can find all sorts of examples where people have receipts or they bought something and they can compare the exact same thing today to what it cost them a year ago. And everything is a lot more expensive. It's not that the increase is, 3% like the CPI. The increases are much greater than that.
Yeah. Yes.
But the CPI was designed to hide inflation. I mean, maybe not initially, but when they reconfigured the methodology in the 1990s, and remember, when they had this Boskin Commission, they decided that the CPI was overstating inflation. They said, hey, it's making it worse than it is, which was probably a lie. But they started from the premise that the CPI was overstating inflation. And so they went in to fix it. And what they wanted was a lower number that they thought was more reflective of actual inflation. So they basically rigged the whole thing so that, whatever the official CPI number is, you probably have to at least double it to get closer to reality.
It's crazy.
And so if they say 3%, well, it's 6%. And if inflation is 6%, there's going to be some things that are rising by 2%, but other things that are rising by 8%. There's going to have, and that's more consistent with reality. Look, I mentioned on my podcast, Disney just announced, we're increasing our prices again. And it was like 15% increase from their last increase, which was a year ago. I mean, every year, these streaming services get 10, 15% more expensive. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just about everything is going up. I buy stuff, you start to look at the receipts, you go to the supermarket, it's like, how the hell does this cost so much money? Everything
I don't know how.
everything I buy, it's like almost amazing. Like, it's that expensive, like my wife just, went and she got some new glasses, and you look at how do people even, I mean, I can afford it. I have the money, but you just go in there and it's $2,000-$3,000 for a couple of pairs of glasses. Like, how are people paying this stuff?
Peter, I lay awake at night thinking about people who are in fixed incomes, the middle class, people who are who don't have. And let me tell you, the issue I've dealt with inflation. We have dealt with inflation my entire life, because as you have explained very eloquently, inflation is a creation of governments. It doesn't happen in a natural market situation with supply and demand. Prices go up and down, but it's because of external factors. Like inflation is a government tax, right? Go ahead.
Right. And what's important to know that in a free market economy, the natural tendency of prices is to decline, right? So absent government inflation, prices would be going down every year, right? And why do prices go down? It's because businesses become more efficient. They develop, cheaper, less expensive ways of making things. And you can see that in technology, right? It's more obvious, with, computer prices or television prices, or, cell phones. You can see that things today cost less than they used to, right?
Some ways.
Well, that used to be the case with everything. Everything used to get cheaper, not just consumer electronics. That's how capitalism works, right? You get economies of scale. Government comes in and inflates the money supply, and that counteracts that downward force with an upward force. But you also have to remember that inflation is the way governments finance deficits. So we have record deficits now, and that means the government is spending a lot of money that it's not collecting in taxes. So where's the money coming from? How is the government getting all this money to pay all these bills if they're not taking it in taxes. They're getting it through inflation. That's how we're paying for record budget deficits. So when Donald Trump tries to claim, oh, we're cutting taxes, no, you're not cutting taxes. Donald Trump increased government spending. The government is spending more money now than it did under Biden. So where is it getting that extra money? Through inflation. It creates the money and spends it into existence. And so that's why prices are going up. It's taxes that people are paying. They just don't realize that inflation is a tax.
Right. Well, and what it's also, it's manipulating the market. They're picking winners and losers, and corporations that should be competing with one another. And that's how you get innovation. That's how you get automation. That's how you get lower prices, because companies have to compete in a free market. And if they don't make great products,
that's another mistake that Trump is making.
Yeah.
Trump is treating the United States like it's Trump Enterprises, and he's the CEO.
That's right.
And he's deciding, let's put money into this company, let's back this industry, let's tariff this, let's exempt that. I mean, this is not what the presidency is supposed to be about. The government is supposed to be neutral. The government's not supposed to tilt the playing field in one direction or another. They're not supposed to pick winners and losers. The old joke is that if they do, all they do is pick losers, which is, what Trump has done. Certainly with the crypto industry, which he's decided that that's going to be a national priority. Why? Let the market decide if it's going to be a priority. Not the president. We didn't elect him to run the economy. He's supposed to run the government, and what he should be doing is shrinking the government. Right? That's the problem that he should solve. He was elected to preside over a huge government that's spending too much money, and he needs to help reduce the size of government and cut back on government spending. He's not there to make investments on behalf of the taxpayers and start buying up stakes in companies and negotiating all these deals. This is not what a U.S. president is supposed to do. And of course, the tariffs that he's imposed are all unconstitutional anyway. Apart from the fact that Trump doesn't even understand tariffs, because he thinks he can put tariffs on movies, which are not even possible. But he doesn't have any idea who pays the tariffs, because he thinks the foreigners pay them. But he's imposing them in an unconstitutional manner because he's creating these fake emergencies. And then he's using his emergency powers to, increase taxes when tax increases have to come from the House of Representatives. That's where they have to originate. And before you can have a tax hike, the House has to introduce it, pass it, then the Senate has to pass it, and then the president has to sign it. The president just can't impose taxes by executive order. That's not how our government works.
Well, that's what they would like. I mean, that's why they declare the emergencies. They declare the emergencies so that they can shred the Constitution and do whatever the hell they want, which, by the way, you might not use this term, but I will. The merging of the corporate state and the government state is fascism. That is the definition. And at this point, this is unprecedented. The Trump administration has now taken a stake in 5 major corporations. Most recently, I believe, a rare earth minerals corporation out of Alaska. Some are saying that this is absolutely unprecedented. And it looks like he is creating a potential wartime economy. That the government is going in, they're going to take over major stakes in corporations, nationalize major corporations in anticipation of potential. The data, I'm hearing 2027, that they might be taking us to war. What do you think about that?
Well, I hate to talk about fascism and Trump, because I know so many people on the left who don't understand what fascism is, and they think fascism is some ultra right wing, and when you say fascism and Trump, they think that, you see, we're right. He's like Adolf Hitler.
They get it completely wrong too, by the way. By the way, the New York Times thinks that we're in a boom. The New York Times thinks we're in the greatest economy ever. New York Times, they're marveling at how great the stock market is doing. I just read today because the government is closed, right? So the left gets it just as wrong, to caveat there. But go ahead.
Look, we had a record stock market under Biden. What did that mean? But the Nazi party in Germany was the National Socialist Party. So fascists are socialists. Fascism is a form of socialism like communism. Right? There's a difference between fascism and communism, but they both fall under the umbrella of socialism. And both
Right.
fascism and communism belong on the same side of the political spectrum. Wherever you're going to put communism, you got to put fascism pretty much right there. And so in our system of left and right, where communism is on the left, fascism is also on the left, right? It may not be as far left as communism, but it's in the same direction. And what differentiates fascism from communism is that under communism, they actually seize legal ownership. The government seizes the means of production legally. They own it. They kick out the private owner, and they own it. Under fascism, they don't take legal title, but they take control through taxation and regulation. And so in fascism, you still have private ownership, but you have government control through taxes and regulation. And that's really what we have in America. I mean, we're already fascist in a sense of the economic model that we have. We no longer have a real capitalist system. We have high taxes and lots of regulation, because if you look at all the taxes that the U.S. government extracts from American business and think, what would happen if the U.S. government just went full communist and nationalized all these companies? Would they actually get more money than they get now? Probably not. Because when you leave the business owned privately, the private owner is going to do a much better job of running it than the government would. So if the government completely takes over a company, it's probably going to run it into the ground. So that's what the fascist realizes. If he just has high taxes and lots of regulation, they'll actually get more revenue than if they steal the whole business outright, right? And that's really what we have. I mean, if you took a typical company in America, the U.S. government makes more money from that company than the shareholders, right? You take a typical company, not only what it pays in corporate taxes, but all the payroll taxes on its employees, and you add all the payroll taxes and the corporate taxes up, that probably exceeds the profits that the shareholders get. So the government is making more money from the company than the legal owners. So who actually owns the business? If the government's getting more than half the profits, you would think that the government owns the business, right? They don't legally own it, but constructively, they basically own it because of, how much they're getting. But Trump is actually just taking us more in that fascist direction by getting the government even more involved. And look what he's trying to do with the Fed. That's probably one of the worst things that he's doing is, hijacking the Fed, finding reasons to fire Fed members so he can stack them with his cronies, and trying to run monetary policy, trying to lower interest rates, even though we have too much inflation. He wants the Fed to create even more.
Unbelievable. Peter Schiff, follow him on Twitter. Also go to schiffgold.com if you want to get in on what's going on with gold. I don't think that 4,000, I think 4,000 is low at this point. I think, as long as our federal government continues to tax and spend, and print money, there's no place for gold to go. Also follow him on the Twitch as well. We're going to take a quick break, Peter. And when we come back, I would like to ask you, Donald Trump and the Republicans and the leftists, including the New York Times, basically the entirety of the left-wing and right-wing media are telling their readers and their listeners and their viewers that, it's a booming economy. Look at the stock market. Look how well we're doing. There is no inflation. The leftists will talk a little bit about inflation because they want to pin it on Trump. So that, they'll pitch the inflation woe stories, but it's only because of big bad Trump. It's not because of anything Biden ever did or Obama or any Democrat. But they're all looking at AI and technology and crypto. And that is leading many analysts to say, to look at this AI stock market. Wall Street is basically propped up right now by all, artificial intelligence tech companies. Is it a bubble? And if it's a bubble, how big is the bubble? And when is it going to pop? And, you know, and then after that discussion, I would like to talk about the little guy. I would like, you know, the good news for the little guys right now, for those of you who are watching and listening, is that because of the stranglehold that the left and right-wing news media has on millions of Americans, hundreds of thousands of Americans who trust Larry Kudlow in the New York Times to tell them the truth about what the hell is going on in this economy and in Washington, D.C., so many people are deceived, including, you know, investors and people who you think would be smart, and they're not in gold yet. I mean, gold is I think still undervalued. I mean, there's still an opportunity because people haven't gotten it yet that things are going downhill and going downhill fast. So from my perspective as a middle class gal, this is an opportunity for me, and, you know, to protect my family. And I want to talk to you guys, to talk to you, Peter, about that. People who don't have a ton of money, who are not elite investors, like, what do they do in this situation? What do you do in you know, wartime or depressionary or recessionary conditions as a regular person? Because that's on the minds of everyone that is watching right now. So when we come back, we're just going to take a quick commercial break, quick analysis on the stock market, tech companies, and the AI bubble, and then let's get to how can we help people, and how can we give people some very real things that they can do to at least protect themselves and maybe potentially thrive in this crazy economy. We'll be back in a moment to continue this discussion with the Peter Schiff. I want to talk quickly, though, about Rocket Dollar. They are new sponsors of the Shannon Joy Show. You guys are going to meet Henry Yoshida. We're going to do a full hour on the economic pain, inflation, and what regular Americans can do to protect themselves as we move towards recession, potentially depression, and conceivably even a currency collapse. You need to protect yourself. You need to protect your family. And one of the ways that you can do that is through a self-directed IRA. Go to rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy today. There's a free guide that you can sign up for, where you can learn all about how to take control of your investments and your retirement. You can do that through Rocket Dollar. It is rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy. That is rocketdollar.com/Shannon Joy to learn about how you can invest in real estate using your own hard-earned retirement savings.
This is Jennifer with darkbags.com. I wanted to show you our latest product. This is our laptop sleeve that has a over-the-shoulder carrying strap, as well as these two straps on the side, so you can kind of hold it like a briefcase. What's special about this is that there's actually a Faraday bag built in to this backpack that fits up to a 17-inch laptop. So here's my laptop. I'm going to put it in. Once you put your laptop into this sleeve, your company can no longer track you, because they do track you after you log off of work and you put your computer to the side. They're still tracking you wherever you go. Another thing that's awesome about the Faraday pouch that's in this bag is that it blocks excessive EMF radiation that's being emitted to you, so that those harmful pulses will not reach you. And also, in case there's an EMP, this protects your electronics from the EMP. So not only does it fit your laptop, you can put your phone, you can put your wallet in here as well, and it will be protected. There is cushioning on the sides, so it'll keep all of your electronic accessories safe in here. This will be available on darkbags.com.
I do want to thank our sponsors over at Juvenon Blood Flow. Blood Flow 7, an amazing product. Your blood's so important. It delivers oxygen to every aspect of your body, your brain, your heart, your lungs. And that oxygen, it is healing, it is life-sustaining, it is absolutely necessary. If your blood isn't flowing properly, which so many Americans, because they've had multiple COVID shots, the spike protein, the mRNA technology, you name it. This is why we're having blood clotting. It is devastating. You have to make sure that your blood is flowing. And that is the mission of the folks over at Blood Flow 7. You take it every day. It's a patented formula, and it works by boosting the body's nitric oxide, NO, levels up to 230%, and also opening the arteries up to 62% to improve your blood flow through your body and deliver that oxygen. In fact, we had David Knight on the Shannon Joy Show a couple days ago, and he was singing the praises of this type of product. He doesn't use Blood Flow 7, but he does use a product like this that boosts nitric oxide. If you have a family member or a loved one who has heart issues, heart conditions, if you have a family member or a loved one who was injured by COVID vaccines or COVID itself, blood clotting, any of those issues, this is the type of product that you want them to be on and that you want to be on yourself. So bloodflow7.com/joy. That's bloodflow7.com/joy. Right now, 25% off. This is a limited time offer. You also get free shipping. You can peruse their 5,000 five-star reviews. It's a great product. So once again, bloodflow7.com/joy. It's number 7, bloodflow7.com/joy. You can get access to his daily or his weekly analysis on his website, schiffradio.com. And also you can check out his offerings on gold, silver metals at schiffgold.com. And of course, follow him on Twitter. Peter is joining us today. Let's bring him back in. Peter, I wanted to ask you about the stock market, tech stocks, and what many are calling the AI bubble. This is what the new, let's pick on the New York Times. We already picked on Larry Kudlow and all the boys over at Fox. The New York Times, I mean, they are very confused, Peter, about why the stock market is soaring while the government is shut down, right? So what could possibly be happening? We have this terrible government, shutdown, what's going on? And this is what they said. One reason is that Washington dysfunction is not the only thing investors care about anymore. And this is what they said. Artificial intelligence companies are making deals. The economy is growing. The government forecasts strong results for the rest of the year. And then, so in this context, the shutdown is just kind of a blip. They say, the investors don't care about Washington, D.C. because they see that AI spending is the main event right now. Investors are taking the long view, and a few weeks seems like a blip. They've learned not to bet against 80 years of momentum. So the unholy alliance between Donald Trump, the U.S. government, and these major stock companies, very dystopian, by the way, with their Manhattan-sized data processing centers that are going to gobble up energy and water and resources, the bungling AI that looks to be, way less sophisticated than they would like us to think it is. But really everything is hinging on 8 tech stocks. That's really driving all of the gains in Wall Street. And those gains are based on, once again, as we talked about yesterday, the federal government through Trump taking stakes in them, basically pimping them, using the bully pulpit and the Oval Office and the power of the federal government and all the agencies to kind of prop up these corporations. But that's what everyone is banking on to save us from all of the other issues that we're having here in the country, the economy. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just a bunch of nonsense. I mean, the government shutdown is not that big a deal. The problem is they're going to eventually reopen. There's 2 problems with government shutdowns, right? The 2 problems with government shutdowns are they never shut down enough, right? Most of the government is still open. And then whatever they shut down, they open it back up again. I mean, so, it's all theatrics. Nothing is going to happen. They're arguing over, what amounts to a small amount of money compared to the massive deficits that they all agree we should continue. So it doesn't amount to anything. But the idea that the economy is going to boom because we're spending all this money on AI. That is nonsense. The economy doesn't grow because you spend money. Now, if the spending leads to an improvement in returns, so let's say we invest a lot of money on AI, and because of that investment down the line, it pays dividends in that we become more productive because of implementing the AI, then we can have economic growth. But the spending itself on the infrastructure and the data center, that doesn't create anything. That's actually a drain. Where is the money going to come from? Everybody is talking about the trillions of dollars we're going to spend on AI. All right, where are we going to get the money? What are we not going to spend money on, right? Because we're going to spend money on AI. I mean, if you want to think about it as a household, let's say we decide a household says, hey, we're going to put in a swimming pool. We're going to spend this money on a swimming pool. Well, all right. Well, where are you going to get the money? Right? What are you going to give up your vacation? Are you not going to buy that new car? I mean, how are you going to afford this swimming pool? Right? And so it's the same thing. If we're going to spend all this money on data centers, where was that money going to go if we didn't put it into data centers? And so what is that going to be? I mean, basically, a lot of this is inflation because we're spending a lot of money building out these data centers that right now don't produce anything. In fact, they suck up a lot of power that we might have otherwise, put to another use. And a lot of this money, these stocks are spending. It's like they're shuffling cards because you have one company investing money in another company. And now the company that got that money is going to give it right back to the company that invested it. And now they book it as revenue. I mean, it's all
NVIDIA.
They're all like a shell game.
Yeah.
They're manufacturing the revenue, themselves.
It's crazy. And
NVIDIA is in each other,
right. Giving money to their buddy AI company or tech company to buy their chips or rent their chips. And I mean, it's just absurd. It's absurd.
Well, NVIDIA gave money to ChatGPT to buy their chips, but then ChatGPT went and took some of that money and bought into AMD. So and now they're going to buy AMD chips, which is a competitor to NVIDIA. But I mean, look, you have these handful of tech companies manufacturing earnings out of thin air. But if you're just going to look at the stock market going up, gold is going up more. So what gold tells you is that stocks are going down, right? If you assume that gold is real money, which it is, and then you price stocks in terms of gold, you can see that stocks are going down. It only looks like they're going up if you measure them with weak dollars, right? So it's like if I am in a car going backwards at 10 miles an hour, and the car next to me is going backwards at 20 miles an hour, it may look like I'm going forwards, but I'm not going forward. I'm going backwards. And so if you measure the stock market in gold, you can see that the stock market is going down. It's been going down for 25 years. The Dow Jones, I know, is down more than 70% if you price it in gold from 2000, from its peak. And this is one of its worst years yet. I mean, it's getting killed in terms of gold. So it's just an illusion created by inflation to think that the market is going up. It's inflation. It makes it look like it's going up. Just like, the price of everything is going up, not just stocks.
So they're plundering. They're looting the American people. They're stealing from us. They're stealing from us at a faster pace, and it's accelerating to the point where they're really, really about to screw a lot of Americans. We have about 6 minutes left. Peter, if you wouldn't mind, can you stay till 106? Because I do want to.
Yeah.
I want to end. I know. I want to end on something tangible that this audience can take away, because this really sucks. I'm gonna be frank. Like, this is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. What our government, whether it's run by a Democrat or a Republican, man, this is really going to hurt people. And I would love just to hear from you. about what regular people can do to begin to prepare. I mean, the answer is not to stick our heads in the sand and run around with our heads cut off like, you know, a Chicken Little. It's to hunker down and to figure some things out and to make some decisions that can at least protect us from some of, you know, the actions taken by our governments, but maybe even help us thrive when things do fall apart. Could you just talk to us about what regular people can do, what you would tell a family of 5, you know, middle class, what they should do and what they can begin to do to mitigate the impact of what our government is going to do to us?
Yeah. Am I doing that now or after a break?
Go for it. Go for it. No, we're going to do it right now.
Well, first of all, look, if you haven't bought any gold or silver yet, I mean, I'm hoping that a lot of your audience has bought it. You've been talking about it, and so people should already own it. But even if you own gold and silver, you should buy more. And if you don't own it, you definitely have to buy it, because I think it's just going to keep on rising. And what's really happening is the dollar is losing value. And so if you hold those dollars, the cost of living is going to go up. But if you hold gold and silver, your cost of living relative to that money is going to go down. Like the mascara that you're paying more for, you know, in terms of gold and silver, the price is probably coming down. It's only going up in terms of fiat dollars. So people should be owning gold and silver. They should, in fact, as soon as they're finished listening to this, they should call up Schiff Gold, go on our website, schiffgold.com, and get some gold or silver, get it delivered to your house, keep it, you know, and as you earn money that you don't spend, that's where you put your savings. You got to save in real money, because if you save in dollars, you're going to get eviscerated by inflation. The inflation taxes your savings, taxes the dollars that you don't spend. If you spend them right away, okay, well, they're not going to be taxed. But if you're holding on to them over time, the longer you hold them, the less they're going to buy you. So you got to get rid of them. But if you store your purchasing power in gold or silver, then in a few years, when you want to buy something, you can cash in the gold and silver and you'll be able to do it, because the price of the gold and silver should go up faster than whatever it is you want to buy using your gold and silver. But I think if you really want to make a lot of money on gold and silver, even though gold and silver mining stocks have more than doubled this year and some have tripled, they're still cheap. The earnings of these companies have increased this year by more than the stock price on a percentage terms. So even though the price has gone up, value has gone down. They're actually better buys now at $4,000 gold than they were at $3,000 gold, even though they've gone up because their profits have gone up so much. But they're going to keep going up because gold's not going to stop at 4,000. It's going to go to 5,000, and it's going to go to 6,000, and it's going to go to 10,000. And Wall Street hasn't wrapped their arms around this. And so these gold and silver mining stocks are still ridiculously undervalued, I think. So we have strategies at Euro Pacific Asset Management where we manage portfolios of gold stocks, or I have a gold fund that has a lot of really small gold companies that I think are going to be the rock stars next year in the gold space. This year, it's been the big companies that have been dominating, but I think next year it'll be the smaller ones. But my gold fund, you could buy no load at any discount broker, is EPGIX. That's the symbol, the Euro Pacific Gold Fund, EPGIX. Or contact, Euro Pacific Asset Management and talk to my representatives there about our funds and about our strategies. And of course, we also invest in just regular stocks outside the United States. Our dividend paying strategy, which invests in foreign dividend paying stocks, not gold stocks, although we have a few in there, but it buys dividend paying stocks. That portfolio is up almost 50% on the year. I think like 49%. So people are starting to make a lot more money now investing outside the United States in foreign stocks than in domestic stocks. And, the Wall Street Journal wants to talk about how great the U.S. market's doing. It's actually one of the worst performing markets of the year. So how do they square that? I don't know.
And by the way, I've been using Peter Schiff and his analysis for over 10 years, almost 12 years. Ever since I started my show, I found you. And, some of the most solid analysis. You have been so consistent. You're stubbornly consistent. You're kind of like me.
What would you?
Like, I mean, that's why we're friends because it's like everyone in the world wants to say like, oh no, like look this way, look that way, look at this shiny new thing, that shiny, like you are just consistently like, as long as the government continues to print money and run deficits and engage in control mechanisms of this economy, we're not going to have nice things. And you can, and the political parties try to like, they try to retell the story in a way that supports their party when their party is in office.
Yeah,
But there's always
if you're
that fundamental lie. Go ahead.
if you're telling the truth, you can be consistent. It's when you're lying that it's hard to be consistent. You have to twist things to contort to what you're trying to say. But if you stick to a principle and you're always honest, it doesn't matter whether it's a Democrat or a Republican who's in office. The truth is the truth. And I put up this clip on my X yesterday of just some interview I did on CNBC 10 years ago when gold was 1,200, and I was saying it's going to 5,000. Now it took longer than I thought, and it's not even at 5,000 yet. But they were just laughing it off like, this is ridiculous. This is never going to happen. How could you be saying this? Your people are going to lose money following your advice. How could you come on here and say this kind of crap? And they had no idea. But I knew what was going to happen to gold. I didn't know exactly when, but I knew what the government was doing, and I know the impact that's going to have on the purchasing power of money and the price of gold and silver.
Yeah, there you are.
That's only one of them.
Look at that. I actually wanted to, it's a longer clip. I was thinking about playing it today, but it's amazing how consistent you are. And you've taken so much flack for it. People are, they hammer you. They absolutely, especially the Bitcoiners. God bless.
Well, now it's a whole new group. Yeah, they weren't active back then, but yeah, for the past several years, because I haven't bought into the Bitcoin pyramid scheme. But Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin has gone way up, so they get very arrogant about their position because I've been critical of Bitcoin the whole way up. And I will be vindicated when it finally collapses. But yeah, it's obviously it's taken a long time for the air to come out of that bubble.
Yeah. Oh gosh, guys, I see all of your questions here for Peter. We'll have him back in again. If you wouldn't mind, we have to end the show because I gotta bring Dr. Mary Talley Bowden in and Dr. Naomi Wolf. But it's all, every time I get you on, I feel like I need another hour. And I promise you guys, we'll do a show with Peter where he answers your questions, where you can come in.
All right.
But really great advice. Yeah, I so highly recommend you. Really appreciate. You've just been stalwart. So thank you for your consistency. You help a lot of people. You have a great day. We'll have you in again, maybe sooner rather than later.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much for Peter Schiff. He wrote the book that, a crash course in economy, how economies grow and why they crash. It builds an economy from like the very beginning with cartoons, and it's just such an easy, interesting read, but is, really nails the complexity of the system that we have today. And that was 12 years ago. Again, he's still consistent. That's why we use him all the time. So yeah, they're not a sponsor of the show, by the way, but I do recommend, he gives great advice. So if you want to go to any of his sites, it's schiffgold.com. And again, if you're not ready for gold, it's expensive, but silver is a way to get into metals too. And I think there's a lot of room for growth in silver as well. I have both. I do what Peter recommended is pretty much exactly what I do. And I'm not rich. I squirrel away as much as I can in order to prepare for what is coming. So we're going to go to a quick break, commercial break. When we come back, we will have Dr. Mary Talley Bowden with us. It is the crossover half hour on hump day. It's Wednesday. We are just about 25 minutes away from On Call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. It is a production of Joy Media and blasted out on the entire Shannon Joy Network, along with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden's massive Twitter following and on the Died Suddenly Twitter account as well. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Mary Talley Bowden, and I think Naomi Wolf is joining us for the crossover as well. So that should be wild. Keep it tuned right here. We'll be back in a minute on the Shannon Joy Show. I do want to shout out one of our amazing sponsors over at Relief Band. So this product has been an absolute game changer for my family and my daughter, Mimi. We do a lot of traveling. She is a beach volleyball player. She's going to go play Division I beach volleyball down in the great state of Tennessee, which is super exciting, but we are in the car all the time. And the poor girl has struggled with severe nausea and headaches and car sickness her entire life, ever since she was a tiny little baby. She would get sick 15 minutes in the car, and it's just made for some really difficult traveling. Well, Relief Band, it's been a game changer. It's been an absolute miracle. Right now, we have an exclusive offer for the Joy audience and for Shannon Joy Show listeners on the podcast. If you go to reliefband.com, that's reliefband.com right now, use the promo code JOY and you will receive 20% off plus free shipping. So it's Relief Band, ReliefBand.com, and use the promo code JOY for 20% off plus free shipping.
I wanted to show you one of our newest products from Escape Zone. This is our satellite Faraday sleeve. So it actually will fit your satellite phone, which we've noticed that there wasn't any product on the market that perfectly fit them, so we decided to make them ourselves. And it has this Velcro closure right here to close it up, and that makes this dust and water resistant. So what's nice about this Faraday pouch is that it'll protect against any EMPs. So your device is, your emergency device actually will always be protected in here as long as it stays in here. You can take it out for everyday use, but if you're not using it, we recommend that you store it in here. Again, this is available on darkbags.com.
First, a quick word from our sponsor over at Kimchi One from Brightcore. This is an amazing product. You guys know I've been focusing on my gut. It's something that I haven't really paid attention to for most of my adult life, but we need that good 85 to 15% good bacteria to bad bacteria in our gut. And here's some interesting information. Did you know that U.S. life expectancy peaked at 78 years in 2014, and global life expectancy is declining for the first time in 30 years. And this is because people are aging faster than ever before. Why? Because of toxins in the air, chemicals in our soil, in our food, and other external factors, including mass vaccination, that are new to these generations. And what people don't know is that we can actually fight aging on a cellular level, and Kimchi One is one of the ways that you can begin to fight that battle. I take it every day, 3 capsules. It's 100% made in the USA, all natural, non-GMO, and it will support your gut. Right now, Kimchi One is 50% off, 50, but that is only if you use the toll-free number. Call them, have a conversation, 888-912-4317. Right now, limited time, 50% off, free shipping, and they are giving away a free bottle of vitamin D3, which is like a $30 value in and of itself. This is just for the Joy audience. So you have to go to mybrightcore.com/joy. That is mybrightcore.com/joy. The 800 number is right there. If you use the promo code JOY, you'll get a straight up 25% off. But, let's have the conversation. Give them a call. Again, 888-912-4317. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. My Kimchi One, if you can see it, I take it every day because I'm going to be honest. As you know, I hate the taste of fermented cabbage, right? And so I am so thankful for Kimchi One, and it's done wonders for my gut. So yes, make sure you check them out over at mybrightcore.com/joy. That's mybrightcore.com/joy. It's a great product when they'll give, number 1, 50% off, number 2, a free bottle of D3, and number 3, free shipping. Plus, I think you can send it back if you don't like it. So that's how much they know you're going to love this product and what a difference it's going to make. And I have seen a big difference. So without further ado, let's bring in the woman of the hour. Yes, it's hump day here on Wednesday. That means we have a nice crossover segment with the Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. She's joining us now and getting ready for her live show, which is broadcast right here on the Shannon Joy Network, also on her massive Twitter following. If you don't follow Mary Bowden on Twitter, make sure you do so. And also on the Died Suddenly platform as well. Girl, how are you doing?
Great. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good.
We're going to talk to, I was going to say, we're going to talk to Charlene Bollinger, who has a new documentary out. And many people are very frustrated over recent events. Seeing Albert Bourla shaking hands with Trump in the White House triggered many of us. So one way we can help is share this documentary. This documentary is meant to persuade the public to dig deeper and wake up. And this documentary is by Charlene and Ty Bollinger. They've been at this a while. They've been doing, they did The Truth About Cancer, The Truth About Vaccines, and now their newest one is Unpacking the Lies We've Been Fed. And so I'm talking to her briefly, and then I'm talking to Harry Fisher, who is paramedic with no filter. He speaks from the heart, and he's gonna. He has a book as well. We'll talk about that.
Okay, well, that sounds amazing. We're going to try to get Dr. Naomi Wolf in today. She might join us on this crossover section. We're going to launch into Mary's show, guys, at 1:35 p.m. Eastern time. So we're going to send it over to Mary. You guys look great on the live chat. If you have any questions, now might be a good time to ask Mary. Put them in all caps. That way I can read them. And yeah, Charlene Bollinger is amazing. I just did an interview with her as well. And the documentary is by Matt Scow, so talented. The crew over at Died Suddenly co-produced the documentary. You're in the documentary, Mary. You did a phenomenal job unpacking the lies we've been fed. And there's a great clip. I mean, just going back and going over how everyone freaked out, how you became the notorious MTB, like the baddest, meanest doctor, in Texas, for standing up and speaking out, saying that vaccine mandates were wrong, and then treating a patient with compassion and helping them obtain ivermectin. That puts you on a hit list, apparently, in Texas from the Texas Medical Board. And they went over that in the documentary. Where are you now, actually? You have something coming up on Friday, right? The Texas Medical Board is still persecuting Mary, by the way. They're vicious, relentless. And there's a new hearing on Friday, right? Did I see that right? You mentioned it on your Twitter account?
Yeah. A week from Friday is sort of the final hearing. I've gone through, I appealed to the State Office of Administrative Hearings. I lost. And so now it goes back to the medical board, and then they will give me their pronouncement, their punishment. They're proposing now a public reprimand. But that is a lighter sentence than,
that's offensive.
The Texas House just passed a resolution honoring me. So it makes no sense. But I do plan on suing them. I do plan on appealing this, and I'm still so mad about it that I'm not giving up.
Anything yet from the governor of Texas? Anything from Greg Abbott on your behalf? Anything whatsoever? Nothing.
Nothing from Greg Abbott. Nothing from Ken Paxton. I mean, really, there have only been a handful. The people in the legislature, Steve Toth has been wonderful. He was just on Tucker. He's running against Dan Crenshaw. That's a huge race.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Toth came out very publicly in my favor from day one.
Okay.
I didn't even realize it, but he was tweeting his support for me right after Methodists went after me. Shelley Luther has been very supportive. Briscoe Cain has been very supportive. There've been, they passed a resolution in the House honoring me, and yet the Texas Medical Board is about to issue a public reprimand. What?
Yeah, it's schizophrenic. Like the politics in Texas remind me of the politics in New York. I'm just going to say it. And I feel bad for Texans right now. And I see one of the comments, Texas has gone woke, unfortunately. Glad I fled to Arizona. You guys, if you're a Texan, man, you guys have a massive target on your back for these enormous data centers. In fact, I think most of the the massive mega Mark Zuckerberg Manhattan-sized data centers that are going to absolutely obliterate the water supply. I mean, Texas is desert to begin with. They need an enormous amount of water in order to function, and they're gonna tax the energy grid as well. But the majority of that action is happening in Texas, Mary. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, we are the heart of the medical mafia. We've got the largest medical center in the world in Houston.
Okay.
And so that's what I've been up against. And people don't realize it. But the healthcare system and the tech system, they're turning Texas blue. And it's happening. It's just like a slow burn where we're slowly turning.
Right. Hey, Mary, Guitar Lily is on the live chat. Go get him, Mary. How do we donate? So how can people support you? One of the ways, before we go directly to your site, by the way, we could not bring you on Call with Dr. Mary Taylor Bowden without the support of the Wellness Company. They came to the table when we told them about this idea to give Dr. Bowden a live platform every Wednesday where she can bring in her guests, have complete editorial freedom, talk about the things that she wants to talk about in terms of health and the politics of health. They came right on board. Foster Colson and Peter Galuli were phenomenal. Absolutely. What do you need? And so without the Wellness Company, we really couldn't bring this to you. So one of the ways that you can support Mary and this show in particular is to always use her promo code MARY. That's MARY when you're shopping on the Wellness Company website. Even better, if you go to, let me see if I can bring it up here. I don't have it. I believe it is... Let me see. It's there. You have a URL, and maybe if you guys can, we'll get the URL for you. But if you shop on our URL, you can get special deals as well. But that's one way. But if they want to donate to you directly, Mary, or your fund, or help you with legal fees or because I mean, you have spent 4 years, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if I'm not incorrect, on legal fees, and it's been so hard for you. Any way that the audience can help out, and what can they do?
Well, subscribing to me on X is helpful. It's $3 a month. And the more subscribers I have, the more reach I have. So that's a huge way. I also have a Substack you can subscribe to. It's called Dangerous Misinformation. And I have a book coming out called Dangerous Misinformation. So those are 3 ways that you can really help.
I love that. We have another question. Mary, how is the fight? This is from CJP Rumble on the live chat. How is the fight for over-the-counter ivermectin coming along?
Texas just became the 5th state to make it. It's not technically over-the-counter. Like, you're not going to find it next to the Tylenol bottle. It's actually safer than Tylenol. But you can get it without a doctor prescribing it. So you can go to the pharmacist and they can dispense it. And so that goes into effect December 4th in Texas. And that's the 5th state in the country. But I am really pushing for the FDA to make it over the counter. So we want it next to the Advil. We want it next to the cough medicine because it is incredibly safe. It's safer than Tylenol. Even more so now with this latest information coming out linking Tylenol to autism. We think ivermectin, the best solution to all this crap that happened during the pandemic, is let people fend for themselves and take the ivermectin. I take it whenever I feel a cold coming on. So you get that scratchy throat, I start taking it because it works with all RNA viruses, inhibiting the virus from entering the cell. And it has 20 mechanisms of action, lots of anti-inflammatory mechanisms of action. And it's extremely hard to overdose on ivermectin. I did a literature search trying to find, suicide attempt by ivermectin. You cannot find it.
Wow. No, and there is, it's great to see Dr. William Makis. I'm working on getting him on the show next week or the week after about, and also Dr. Joseph Ladapo Surgeon General of Florida making the announcement that they're going to start studying the use of ivermectin, ivermectin particularly for cancer cures. And then Makis, I mean, he's been at the forefront of the combo of ivermectin, fenbendazole, and menbendazole, I think it is. I don't know if those are the three, but the amount of data coming out on cancers it's like a fire hose in my face. I really can't keep up with it, Mary. And Nicholas Hulsher has been doing a lot of good work. I mean, there's so much data. I think that through the McCullough Foundation, they have 7 major studies coming out about the damages from the mRNA technology and the COVID shots. And the cancer paper is horrifying.
Well, I mean, step one, though, the CDC is protecting that information. They have the national cancer statistics, and they have not updated
I have to hear Mary.
it since 2020. They have not updated it till 2022. So they are holding on to this data. They're protecting it from the public. I am going to start really campaigning hard for the public to demand the CDC release that data.
So this gets back to like why I'm feeling so gaslit and why it's so hard for me to cheerlead for Donald Trump or HHS or Marty Makary or Jay Bhattacharya, because not only last week did ASIP vote, and I believe it was Martin Kulldorff who cast the deciding vote. So ASIP, which is some panel that votes on things at HHS. But the bottom line is they voted to make it easier for the mRNA shots to be administered. It doesn't have to be by a healthcare professional or a nurse. Or I guess any Joe Schmo can inject someone with a COVID vaccine. I'm not sure if I'm getting this right, but it basically made it easier to administer injections. Martin Kulldorff, passed the deciding vote, and then I was talking to you earlier. Yeah, this information needs to be released. They have all of it at their fingertips. In fact, Jay Bhattacharya at NIH should allocate, $200 million to disperse to the university hospitals across the country to study the mechanisms of harm from mRNA technologies and the COVID shots. Like, it's like they have every resource at their fingertips. There's no reason not to deploy those resources. But not only are they not deploying those resources, they are also not acknowledging the COVID vaccine injured. And this has been stuck in my craw for the past week. I mean, so many are suffering, they are injured, and nothing is being done. And they're being gaslit even more than they were being gaslit by the Biden administration, because supposedly our team is in office. I mean, your thoughts on that? We do have Naomi Wolf, I believe, ready to go. So we're going to bring her in a second, but your thoughts on that? We can maybe get Naomi's. I'm getting irritated with the whole thing.
Well, I will say a glimmer of hope. I have submitted recent VAERS reports that I've actually gotten some response from the government promptly, which I have prior to Kennedy.
I need to hear Mary.
Reports I submitted were. I'm sorry, you can't hear me? Can you just go again, because they were in my ear and I couldn't hear what you said. About the irritation. So sorry about that. A glimmer of hope is that I've been submitting VAERS reports because I continue to see the vaccine injured on almost a daily basis. And since the new administration has taken over, I've actually gotten some prompt responses to the VAERS reports. Whereas prior to that, they were just completely ignored. So that's a step in the right direction. I'll say that.
You're such an optimist. God bless you. We need all sorts of personalities out there, I think, to get these things done. But people are dying. People are suffering. And I don't know how long. This would be a question for Naomi when we're able to get her in. We're not ready for her yet. But I just don't know how long. I mean, what is the stop point? When do we say that the Trump administration is as bad as the Biden administration, or when do we go to that moment where we're like, okay, we just need to oppose you because you're doing worse and worse things? I mean, 500 mRNA technologies in the hopper is just insane. It's insane.
they're losing credibility by the day. I mean, we're almost, what are we at, 9 months now? And maybe
9
we
months.
could make excuses for them. But when inviting Borla into the Oval Office and praising him for what a great job he did with COVID, and yeah, maybe the joke's on him, but I doubt it. I don't know. Trump seems to have no filter. I don't know that Trump plays as much chess as they say. Yeah, it's very discouraging. But Trump needs to think about his legacy, because his legacy, he's going to be known, because the truth is going to all come out at some point. May not happen during his term, but it will come out, and then he's going to be stuck with this legacy.
I don't know. I used to believe that. I never in a million years thought that the medical freedom community would rally behind the guy who locked us down in the first place and put Anthony Fauci in charge and initiated Operation Warp Speed and signed the legislation deeming certain people essential and other people non-essential. The entire funding mechanism. I mean, I'm still incredulous about that. It seems like he always gets away with everything. He never gets held to account, ever.
Well, I mean, the alternative was Kamala. So relative to her, he was our best option.
We didn't have. Right. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, what's discouraging is when you criticize Trump, you get attacked so viciously. And it's like a cult. And we can still, we have to be able to criticize the people who are in power. There seems to be this fear that if you criticize Trump or you criticize Kennedy, then you're going to ruin everything they're trying to do, which I completely disagree with.
Yeah. I've come to learn, it's very interesting. This is what I think, I originally began critiquing Trump in 2016, when he came down the escalator, and I told my audience, this guy is a New York City liberal Democrat. He's a predator. All the things that I say today, and I have been, oh my gosh, the attacks. And I used to think in 2016, I got hammered on Facebook, annihilated on Twitter. I mean, it was vicious. I've been deplatformed. I lost my radio show because I wouldn't get on the Trump train. And what I used to think were regular people, what I have come now to know is that when you get hammered and attacked on Twitter and on Facebook or any social media, they're fake. They're bots and trolls. They're not real. Most of them are not real. And there are some real people I've lost in terms of real audience from time to time. But I will say, in terms of real people, most Trump fans they're not as gung-ho or MAGA. They're not the people that you see at the rallies that are just, that's such a small, tiny subset of the population as a whole. But because they're loud and they're vicious and they're scary and they're going to get in your face and they're going to, everyone's like, oh my gosh, everyone must be like that. So it's been an exercise for me to, like, when the tidal wave comes at my face, that I just kind of settle down and I just take it. I just float. I just turtle a little bit, as Catherine Austin Fitts would say, and just let it wash over me. And then I pop right back up. And then we go, as long as we're telling the truth, we're going to be okay. It's kind of the way that I've dealt with it. I think Naomi is ready to come on as well. Any thoughts on that? I mean, not everyone is as comfortable sticking their necks out on the Trump thing, because again, it is vicious. But that's just my sense of it.
It's vicious. Cat turd flipped me the bird and blocked me. Cat turd. I can't even remember what I said, but it was like I just threw a little bit of shade on Trump. And now we're like enemies. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, the cat turd army comes after you. It's bad.
Cat turd in the litter box. Yeah. Let's bring in Naomi Wolf. Dr. Naomi Wolf is with us now with Dr. Mary Talley. There she is, gorgeous lady. Does she know that we have her? Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. There have been happier times in the world, but I'm fine. It's good to see you, ladies. Let's just have a tiny party and go to the spa and forget all this nonsense.
I know.
No,
I know.
I went to a spa in Arizona over the weekend, and I lost all the rage. I'm like, oh no! I had no desire to tweet or any. It was very weird, and then I was a little worried that I was going too soft. But Monday I was back.
It can happen.
Yeah. We can't lose that bad girl edge, ladies. And you too, along with Sasha Latipova and a few others, have been at the tip of the spear in terms of trying to hold this administration accountable for promises made to the medical freedom community and stand up for the voices of the vaccine injured and those who lost loved ones. I mean, Naomi, this just reiterates everything you've done over the past 4 years, but there's, more evidence coming out, peer-reviewed studies coming out on fertility, absolutely devastating. We'll go back to Nicholas Hulcher and the study. I mean, devastating news about fertility, men and women, what is happening in the ovaries and sperm as a result of COVID injections. I know you guys are going to have your own conversation, so I won't pop in for too long. I should be popping out pretty soon, handing the show over to Mary. But yeah, I would just love to get your thoughts on that.
You want my thoughts on the fact that additional reporting is confirming catastrophic harms to fertility in men and women from the injection, the COVID injection. You know what I'm going to say. It's just incredibly painful to hear these things, not at all surprising, because for 4 years I've been screaming. I'm not even a medical doctor or a scientist, but I took, 8th grade biology, that if you've got women reporting menstrual problems, which is why I got deplatformed from X and Facebook and YouTube, in 2021, you're going to have collapses of population by 2023 or 2024. Obviously, this is my dog sitting on my lap. With the Pfizer documents, the 3,500 documents released under court order that Aaron Siri forced the FDA to share with the world, though they wanted to keep them buried for 75 years, we showed 360 degrees damage to sperm, ovaries, fallopian tubes, placentas, babies in utero, over 80% miscarriage rate in one section, high maternal mortality, fetal abnormalities. It's not a bug, it's a feature. The 8-page pregnancy and lactation report that went to the White House and Dr. Walensky in April of 2021 proved, it's like, here, look, it works. It proved that 2 babies died in utero due to maternal exposure to the vaccine. It's got a chart of babies getting sick, one baby dying from nursing. It's got a chart of menstrual disorders affecting tens of thousands of women. And Borla is a veterinarian whose research is on the fertility of mammals, goats, I believe, and sheep. And so clearly, you can't sustain healthy fertility when, mechanism after mechanism of human fertility was targeted in the Pfizer documents. It wasn't like a byproduct. It was agreed that the methodology clearly was to find out how to disrupt human fertility on every single stage of, conception, pregnancy, delivery. And they did it. And so we've also been independently finding, up to 20% drops in live births. We reanalyzed or analyzed separate data, Canadian government data in Ontario, men and women damaged. Czech Republic had a huge study that showed a massive drop in live births. Igor Chudov, the Substack mathematician, looked at, I think, 13 government databases and found a 13 to 20% drop in live births. That was in Iceland. They reported they can't even replace themselves. They're down to 1.5 live births per 2 parents. So there are going to be no Icelandic people over time if this doesn't reverse. And they're being told, oh, you have to accept immigration so you can replace your population because you're dying out as Icelanders. One of the most intact cultures on the planet. I could go on and on, but I brought this to the European Parliament last month. It's not a bug, it's a feature. This is the main, I would say the main intention of the rollout and the mandating of this injection is to collapse live births in the West, because it's not around the world, it's disproportionately centered in the West, and then to flood unvaccinated immigrants from some of the most brutal failed states on the planet to those countries to, wipe out the cultures of democracy, essentially.
Wow. Mary, what are your thoughts?
That's heavy.
It's heavy.
It makes sense. I'm curious, what was the reaction of the European Parliament to your testimony?
Well, it was very positive. I had 70 parliamentarians in the auditorium, and the questions were very respectful. That they got cut off. Interestingly, the audio was cut off by the EU to the outside world, so people in the EU couldn't hear the Q&A and could barely now get access to the video. But subsequently, I think I did I think there was an impact because Ursula von der Leyen the following week gave a speech about setting in place penalties against medical misinformation.
Oh, okay.
And we're entering into a go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, well, speaking of medical misinformation, the reason I wanted to have you on was to talk about your big win, the lawsuit against Google and YouTube. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Just one additional note before we leave Ursula von der Leyen. She is, the parliamentarians are demanding that she disclose the texts between her and Albert Bourla about the Pfizer deal in Europe, and she's refusing to. So unfortunately, governance in the EU is so diluted that I don't think legally they can compel her to turn the texts over, but there's enough fury. We got through enough, I think, and I really want to credit MEP Christine Anderson of Alternatives for Deutschland, who invited me and introduced me. Yes. Interestingly, the daughter of a 16-year-old conscripted into the Nazi army, who then spent the rest of his adult life under East German communism, and the granddaughter of Holocaust people whose siblings were wiped out by the Holocaust, we both reached the same conclusions about, the need to stop this kind of tyranny in its tracks. But yeah, I'm happy to switch gears and talk about better things, which are.
Before we do that, let's use this as a natural break, right? Because you girls are both amazing and beautiful. We're now moving into Mary's show. So what I would like to do, if you don't mind, we're going to conclude my show and we're going to move into On Call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, sponsored by the Wellness Company. So I'm going to step out. I'm going to let the two of you continue your discussion, Mary, your interview. And then after that, we'll go to a quick break and then we'll continue with the rest of the show for Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. But I just want to make my exit here, ladies. I hope you have a really great discussion. And I'm just so thankful to count both of you as friends in this battle. There is so much to do. And I will be watching. So, and also helping out with some of the breaks. So you guys have a great show. Mary, thank you so much. Naomi, great to see you as well.
Thank you so much. Just before you go, just to be super transparent, I only have like 2 segments. I only have like half an hour.
Beautiful. I don't even know if it's going to take that much time. So we should be good. So thank you guys for being with us today on the Shannon Joy Show. We are now concluding. We're moving into the amazing On Call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. Make sure you like and share. We're broadcasting on Twitter, on Rumble, on all of the SJ Network platforms. And we're so thankful, of course, to the Wellness Company for sponsoring this endeavor. So I'm popping out. We're going to go to a quick break. We will be back with Mary, and I'll be popping onto the live chat as well. Have a great day.
And we're back. So, real quick, Naomi, I know you don't have much time. Tell us about the big win with Google and YouTube.
Well, I wish it was bigger because I think it's hard to convey how completely what turns out to have been the Biden administration's overt action, unconstitutional action to intrude, damage my First Amendment protected speech, to deplatform me in 2021 for raising the issues we just discussed about menstrual dysregulation from the COVID vaccine. It completely destroyed my career. And I was, very successful writer of 8 or 9 bestsellers at that point, known around the world, lecturing around the world. So that's just completely gone away. Like even now, even AI calls me a conspiracy theorist instead of what I was called before 2021, which is a best-selling feminist author, advisor to 2 presidential campaigns, Rhodes Scholar, DPhil in literature, etc. So, you'd have to pay millions and millions to make up for the fact that I will never get my reputation back. There are not enough years in my life to, with AI incorporating the lies, I'll just never get my life back. That said, it's better for these big tech companies to be held accountable than not. So when I was approached in, I think, 2022 by John Cole, who is the counsel to then former President Donald Trump, to join him as co-plaintiff in a lawsuit for the violation of our First Amendment rights, I didn't like President Trump at that point. I had voted against him. I'd voted for the people who censored me, actually the Biden administration. But I knew that it was the right thing to do, to join him for the First Amendment. So I added my name, and a number of other good co-plaintiffs joined us, among them Dr. Kelly Victory, who's the wonderful dissident doctor with the Wellness Company. And she works with Dr. Drew, and America First Legal, the Conservative Union, I believe, I think about 8 other plaintiffs. And I didn't even know at that point that it was the Biden administration that had censored me, that those emails in which Carol Crawford at the CDC basically lifted out my email about menstrual dysregulation, said, go after this. Those were revealed in 2023 in discovery by the attorneys general of Louisiana and Missouri in Janine Eunice's lawsuit on behalf of Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, and others who were silenced, members of the Great Barrington Declaration that went up to the Supreme Court. So I was shocked to see that. And it's very scary, Dr. Bowden, to see that the administration of the greatest power on earth is singling out your speech, your actual accurate texts, and saying, they said, do a bolo about this, which means be on the lookout, like I'm a criminal or a fugitive. And it had a profound effect. And the other depressing thing is I didn't see any evidence in the emails that Twitter or YouTube really fought back, like with all their money and all their lawyers. They really didn't seem to have said, no, we're not going to abuse our users. The terms of use don't allow us to silence people for their non-threatening views. Like there are terms of service that probably say if you threaten people or, engage in other bad behavior, you can be taken off the platform. But I wasn't doing any of that. I was just reporting, as I always have done. And ironically, women's health and sexual health has been my beat since my first bestseller, The Beauty Myth, long ago. So that is the story. So finally, I guess at the end of last year, President Trump and John Cole successfully brought Twitter to settle with us. And so money changed hands then. I can't name the amount. Again, it's, I think, a laughable sum considering what I lost, but it is what it is. And more recently, YouTube / now acquired by Google, Alphabet is the parent company, settled with President Trump and me and, Kelly Victory and the other plaintiffs, another sum I can't disclose. So, big deal, but I didn't do it for the money. On the other hand, it's better for them to acknowledge they were wrong. And it certainly gives me the opportunity to sue every damn platform that continues to deplatform me.
Yeah, and I assume it sets a precedent for other people to sue as well. Is that correct? I mean,
I'm not
what
a
did they
lawyer.
exactly admit? Yeah.
Well, I didn't read the settlement document carefully, and I actually don't have the settlement document yet from the most recent settlement. But it is my understanding that they settled, but stopped short of admitting wrongdoing. So,
Right.
at least Google. I tried to negotiate a letter of apology from Twitter, and they wouldn't do it, which makes me pretty mad, because not just for my sake, but because Twitter in particular, by censoring that tweet about menstrual damage, harmed women, harmed millions of women who are now suffering from infertility. And they
Right.
by not censoring me, we could have had that conversation, and these women might have healthy children now, or healthy menstrual cycles, which is also important. So I think they should have apologized, not just to me, but to women all over the world, because they hurt them materially, physically. And YouTube, I did negotiate that my name would be mentioned in White House press releases, which I gather it was. It's not as good as a letter of apology. I mean, as I said, these platforms have the power. They were able to seed negative stories about me with mostly made up posts, or posts that didn't exist anymore, to major media all over the West. Outlets I'd written for my whole career, The Guardian, the BBC, Sunday Times of London, where I used to be a columnist, like all of them ran the same damning stories about how crazy I was. And they have the power to do that. They have the power to, send a letter of apology spelling out that they unconstitutionally suspended my accurate reporting on a public health matter. They're really sorry, I was right, but they chose not to do that. So it's a very paltry victory from my point of view. It's not nearly what it should be.
Well, the other thing is, how come we haven't heard about this story? I mean, this is huge news. You would think it'd be all the buzz. Are media outlets talking about it?
No one's contacted me. I mean, there was a wave briefly of stories from the White House saying, especially that that YouTube settled, that Google Alphabet settled. There was more than during the Twitter settlement. Partly that was because congressional Democrats were scrutinizing the settlement to make sure that it wasn't a bribe to the president, in their view, for favorable treatment in other matters under the administration's review right now from Google or Alphabet. And that's fair enough. But it came and went, and I definitely think it's a huge public interest story, just like I think the Pfizer documents are the biggest public interest story of our time. But New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, all these people, Guardian, who ran defamatory stories about me, haven't called me. They haven't said, sorry, we ran those stories at the behest of, Google or YouTube, and we apologize. No, they really game, and AI makes it worse, right? They game the communications environment so that you can have justice, but it really doesn't have a big impact.
Yeah, and what you're saying about AI is very frightening, because how do we hold AI accountable? There's nobody to hold accountable for what AI says. Well, thank you so much, Naomi, for joining us, and I'm going to publicize this far and wide. I hope more people will, because it's a huge development.
Yeah, well, I hope other people sue. I mean, everyone needs to sue these people. It'll maybe restrain them next time. I hope everyone makes millions and millions of dollars suing Google and X and, holding them accountable, Facebook holding them all accountable for what they did. This is America, and we have a First Amendment. You're not allowed to do that to people.
Well, agreed. Thank you, Naomi. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk to Charlene Bollinger about her new documentary, Unpacking the Lies We've Been Fed.
Amazing women. So thankful for Dr. Naomi Wolf and Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. So before we get to the next segment on Call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, I do want to talk with you about our sponsor, the Wellness Company. Now, we're definitely in cold and flu season. And I don't know about all of you, but I have never had a cold or I've never had a flu shot. And given what has happened over the past 5 years and what I have seen of the medical industrial complex, I can't see myself ever getting a flu shot ever again. And so many people feel that way. It's why there's a much better way to stay healthy. And the folks over at Wellness Company, of course, they have all of these amazing products and services to help you stay healthy. You can grab today a contagion emergency kit from the Wellness Company. So if you wake up with a sore throat or a runny nose, you can address your symptoms immediately without having to go into the medical industrial complex or go to an urgent care or go to your doctor. You can treat it immediately with doctor-prescribed kit, with this doctor-prescribed kit containing, of course, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, generic Tamiflu, generic Z-Pak, and many, many more. It's like having that urgent care plopped right down in the middle of your home for you and your family. I don't want to be trapped in a line at an emergency room or rely on expensive insurance if I catch a cold. And the same goes for my family as well. You can simply open your kit, reference the doctor written guidebook for safe use, and then get back to life. Because honestly, guys, colds and flus don't have to be complicated, right? It happens to everyone. And we're learning that you can treat these things very safely at home. This kit is literally a lifesaver. It has thousands of reviews from people just like you and me who have had their kit ready in time. So this is what you have to do. It's very easy. Go to twc.health/Mary. That's twc.health/Mary and use the code MARY to save $32 on your emergency contagion kit. You can get it now before the cold and flu season kicks into high gear, and it's super easy. Again, go to twc.health/Mary. Use that promo code MARY for $32 off, and make sure you use her promo code all over the TWC website. You can use it for any of their amazing products or services. It's MARY. Very often it's 10% off, I believe. And of course, you can get access to all of their unique specials and offers at twc.health/Mary. And TJ is going to pop that URL right up in the live chat on the Rumble chat and in the comment section. So you guys have that very easy URL, and make sure that you save it and use it every time you shop at the Wellness Company. Again, thank you to the amazing team over at the Wellness Company. We could not bring them this very important broadcast without their support. So make sure if you want to support Mary, support them as well. We'll be back in a moment. I believe Mary is going to conduct our interview with Charlene Bollinger. This is going to be a great one. So we're going to go back to the show, and we'll see you in a minute.
Today, I have Charlene Bollinger, who just released a wonderful documentary, Unpacking the Lies We've Been Fed. And she was kind enough to feature my story in there and many other stories in there. This is in response to not only the pandemic, but all sorts of issues going on in our health sector, including food and including the MAHA movement. So Charlene, tell us about the documentary and what prompted you to make it.
Mary, thanks for having me. I'm I am a big fan of the good work God has done and is doing through you. So it's been a pleasure to hear the feedback too on your segments in the film. It's so important to stand up for the truth. So what led to this film specifically was not only the chaos through COVID and our goal to help Bobby Kennedy with the work he's doing in HHS. And it's going to take a whole lot of effort for all of us to come together and help him because, you know, he's standing in the middle of behemoth. But Bobby needs a lot of support and help because he can't do this alone. Bobby is a gift from God from the inside. And everyone around Bobby, most people, are funded by pharma. And we featured part of that in the film. I mean, just follow the money. And as they were attacking him, it was so great that he said, you know, you took this much, you took this much. There's so much corruption and capture in these agencies. So for us, you know, we began this work, Mary, because we lost various family members starting in 1996 to the conventional cancer treatments, not to the cancer. Most people that die being treated for their cancer don't die of the cancer. They die from the treatments by and large. So we got a big dose in that. And we knew right away that, you know, the conventional route was not for us. But the first introduction was Ty's father. When he was diagnosed with cancer, they cut his stomach out. That was their treatment. They cut his stomach out. And he literally, within 25 days, bled to death. Slow, agonizing, painful death. It was not the cancer because the guy was like super healthy before that. At least he felt and looked healthy. From the time that surgery happened to the time he went to be with the Lord, leaving this world, there was just so much pain. That was our introduction into cancer. So a lot of other family members, same thing. Cancer diagnosis, cancer treatments, and those treatments just ended their life. We did the research. We found the truth. It was shocking. And when we lost Ty's mother in 2004, that was a total of 8 years from one to the other and many in between. We knew we had to save lives. We had the truth. We had a command on the truth at that point. So we self-published a book called Cancer Step Outside the Box. And we reached hundreds of thousands of people with the book. God blessed it. It went to the top of the charts. We were able to help people that were sent home to die, treat and beat their cancer. And it was fantastic. So then in 2014, that's when we started our films. We founded docuseries, health docuseries. We trademarked that. And now everybody and their mother is making docuseries and they're on a mission to save lives. It's like you're watching your own mission statement be spoken by a lot of different people. But literally for us, it was beauty from ashes. We had to lose a lot of people to be able to get the truth out into the world. So when we started our docuseries and we featured heroes like yourself, in the beginning, it was, you know, do you remember Dr. Gonzalez, prolytic enzyme therapy? We were able to interview him. He was a doctor to the stars. Suzanne Summers and other celebrities, some don't like to be named. We do talk to them behind the scenes. But he was so effective that he ended up dying of a heart attack. And his widow, I'm still friends with her, is convinced it was a heart attack machine that ended his life. And he was one of over 100 doctors that we knew that ended up dying during that span of time. There was an attack on these natural doctors, and we're a part of it. We're doing live events. We are featuring people that were obscure and unknown, heroes. And that's why I love you, Mary, because, you know, we've been able to find the world's best people working, doing wonders in their own little corner obscurely and feature them in our films or on our live events, just to bring the truth to the world and these healers and their clinics and their protocols to the world so that people can stop dying just because they don't have the information, you know? And so when COVID happened, we knew the minute they mentioned COVID, I knew that they're up to something. And in 2019, before COVID happened, we had the Truth About Vaccines 2020, knowing that, and you probably know this, in 2020, their goal, Healthy People 2020, was to take away our opt-outs. And by 2030, mandate and make everyone be caught up with the whole vaccine schedule, grandma too, like not just the kids, but everybody. We knew that was coming. We knew 2020 was the year of the vaccines. And so we're making the film, we're producing it, we're putting it together. And as we release this thing in April, I mean, it's the height of the pandemic at that point. And I'm here, you know, we're here with Bobby and Andy Wakefield and Sherry Tenpenny and Judy Mikovits doing roundtables. And we were having to re-script some of our episodes because at that time, remember HR 6666 and all the things that the World Health Organization was doing? So we were doing voiceovers before we released it to the world. That's how crazy the world was at that time. So at that time, Mary, they put us on the disinformation dozen because we were very effective at our messaging. So now we knew, you know, being friends with Bobby, helping him in this position, empower him to do what he needs to do, and empowering the public with the truth, rather than roll out another docuseries, it's 8 to 10 parts. We wanted to have a powerful film with a powerful message to help people that still don't understand. They know something's wrong, but who's doing it and why, and how are they doing it? And so we selected a few superstars like you and some others who are very articulate. And Matthew Scow, our director, he's truly gifted. He's amazing. Being able to tell this story, you know, what happened? What is this propaganda machine? How are they pulling the wool over our eyes? And I think that the message comes through so clearly, better than anything we've ever done, so that now when people watch it, they'll see the value of what you're doing, Mary, and the value of what Bobby's doing or what we're doing. Collectively, they cannot stop us. So the goal with this film is to wake people up to what's going on, empower them with the truth so that they can share it with their friends and family, and they can share it. Once we wake up enough people, then we'd start this film, send it to your mayor, send it to your local school board, send it to your local legislators, your state legislators. If enough people wake up, there's nothing that they can do, because collectively we can come together as a community and work together. I mean, what you did was tremendous. You fought them and you won. And if we all do that, we take our country back for our kids. So that's the goal of the film. That's how we got to where we are today, to make this film and put it out there. And Mary, we appreciate not only you being in the film, but telling your followers about it, to watch it, to share it, to just live. Stop living under tyranny.
Yeah, I think one of the best parts about the film is showing the pattern of deceit, the pattern of propaganda. It didn't just start with COVID. And it's very convincing when you look back in time and see what they've done, for example, with the cigarette industry, where they convinced everybody, including doctors, that cigarettes were good for you. And then now we all know it's very obvious that cigarettes are not good for us. So I am very honored to be in this film. Excited to have this rolled out, and I really do. I share your encouragement with everybody to get it out there and get it out to the people that are not aware of what's going on. It's an easy thing to do. Just share the link and share it far and wide. And yes, if we can change the mindset of the country, then we will be helping Robert Kennedy do his job and push through what we need to get done.
Thank you, Mary. You couldn't be more accurate. So yeah, I encourage everyone to share it, watch it, share it with your legislators, share it with your leaders. Together we can make a difference, and that's our goal.
Thank you, Charlene. And thank you for taking on this big, gigantic project and doing such a wonderful job with it.
Thanks, Mary.
Great interview. And there is so much to say about that documentary, Unpacking the Lies We've Been Told. Charlene Bollinger, Ty Bollinger, teaming up with the producers over at Died Suddenly for this amazing documentary. By the way, I'll be running my interview with Charlene Bollinger on the SJ network. Tonight at 8 p.m. is a live event. So if you want to check that out, I also had the opportunity to interview her. She's absolutely great. So we can look forward to that. Let's talk very quickly about a new product over at the wellness company, Smile. One of the things I've never really thought about, not sure if you guys have thought about this, but what is in your toothpaste? Have you ever checked the ingredients in your toothpaste? Well, along the lines of they're poisoning us through everything: air, food, water, vaccinations, the medical industrial complex, and yes, your toothpaste, your deodorant, all of the things. I'm learning now from the folks over at the wellness company that most toothpaste on the market are filled with harsh chemicals and additives like triclosan sulfates, titanium dioxide, and these can pose risks to your health with long-term use. You use them every day in your toothpaste hoping for a healthier smile, but you end up with irritated gums, sensitive teeth, and you're being exposed to sketchy chemicals. It's time to swap out those chemical-laden toothpastes and try peptides. Introducing Smile Peptide Toothpaste from the Wellness Company. This is a breakthrough peptide paste designed to help reverse gum loss through what they call mouth regeneration. It's formulated with active peptides to support gum regrowth, nanohydroxyapatite. Oh my gosh, I can hardly even say it, but it's hard to say, but it's really great because it strengthens while remineralizing your teeth. And then it also has PAP plus to gently whiten without sensitivity. So Smile helps you build a truly healthy mouth without all of those sketchy ingredients. And you get to stay fluoride free as well, which is a huge benefit. If you're ready to make this switch, I want to invite you to go to twc.health/Mary right now. That is twc.health/Mary. You will get 10% off your order of Smile and also free shipping, but you have to use that promo code MARY. So you can take action today for a healthier tomorrow by using Smile from the Wellness Company. Okay, thank you to our sponsors over at the Wellness Company. That URL is twc.health/Mary, promo code Mary.
Now I have the pleasure of speaking to Harry Fisher, who is an EMT. I'm an ENT. That's why I always say ear, nose, and throat, because I don't want people thinking I'm saving lives on an ambulance all day long. EMT, emergency medical technician. And Harry has become known far and wide because you might be the only EMT I've seen who has spoken up about all the things you have seen firsthand on the field. And you have a book. It's called, I know it's fishersbook.com, but you're gonna have to tell me. Safe and Effective, I believe, is a paramedic.
Safe and effective for profit, a paramedic exposing American genocide.
Perfect. Where can people go buy that?
Fishersbook.com or Amazon. But fishersbook.com I would appreciate it if you went there instead, so I can tally, how many people are buying it, because Amazon doesn't do that. So I would appreciate it if you went to fishersbook.com.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
So you are a paramedic or EMT. I know that there was an incident where you had to go rescue somebody in line. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah. At the start of all this, I got a call, 911 call. So typically we're riding around in our ambulance, especially when you're working big cities, and they do zone coverage. So basically I was in a zone, and they called me to what I call a Pfizer line. I didn't know what to call it at the time, like this weird line where people are lining up to get these experimental shots. Didn't know. So they called me there, and she was young, in her 30s. And she went into VTAC. So for you, Doc, you know what I'm talking about. She went into a lethal arrhythmia. She didn't have an allergic reaction. She wasn't having hives. She they gave her the shot and she went to VTAC.
Wow.
I shocked her 3 times, intubated her, worked her, full code. I worked her as much as I could on scene. And while I was working her, the nurse came over and said, "This is the second one in 2 weeks." So the nurse literally came up and said, "This is the second one in 2 weeks."
And this was at a pharmacy?
No, it was, I got to be careful on what I say because I don't want to violate HIPAA laws. So no, it was a makeshift line with like probably 100 people, 100, I mean, a lot of people watching this occur. Because at one point when this was going on, I literally looked over my shoulder. So imagine you're intubating someone. Imagine you're intubating someone and you're getting this all done. You attach the BVM, your capnography's there. You're watching the monitor, shock delivered. Fire department's helping you. And at one point I looked over my shoulder and there was a line of people just standing there. Like they weren't even freaking out. They were just standing there. And it was so surreal. Like, I don't know. It was weird to watch them. And they weren't running. I would have been running from the line. Like I would have been like, "No,
Exactly.
deuces, I'm out." And they were standing there. They were just waiting. And that's what we've been dealing with.
Right. Just numb. Just people just completely numb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling. And when you do speak out about it, here's something that annoys me about myself. I should have screamed. I should have gotten up from there and said, run away.
Well,
I kicked myself for not doing that.
Was this your first incident? I mean, or did you have suspicions prior to this? What was
I had suspicions because it was rushed so fast. And I mean, I don't like rushed products. I mean, anything rushed that they're trying to say you should take. And the way that they came about it was like, we're not going to mandate it. We're not going to mandate it. And they still didn't mandate it until months later from this incident. I mean, this incident, they didn't mandate it. But I was still seeing the signs. It wasn't until I didn't start attacking it on TikTok is what I originally attacked it on. I started fighting the TikTok wars, banning on TikTok.
Are you still on TikTok? Are you on TikTok?
No, they've banned, I don't even know, 100 accounts.
Yeah.
I got I don't even try anymore. I mean, why? I mean, they typically let me get to about 30,000 people and then they ban me, and it just feels it's a kick in the gut every time they do.
Yeah.
So I don't play that. But I was working in North Dakota on a native reservation after this call, it just was getting worse and worse and ramping up. And I was working in North Dakota, and they did a big shot push on North Dakota, like big, like on that reservation. They were like, if you want to be on the reservation, you're taking this shot. So everyone pretty much took the shot. It was so bad. Like we lost. Okay, our nurse manager this is within 2 weeks. So they gave the shot, and within 2 weeks, we started seeing heart attacks, strokes, PEs, and this is a small hospital. This isn't and the doctor who worked at this hospital for 30 years, the doctor left after this. Like the doctor was like, I can't do this anymore. This is genocide, Harry. We're watching genocide occur.
Really? Oh.
Because just was done. She was done. But we saw, in one day, we intubated our nurse manager who fell out on the floor. While we were doing that, one of the nurses was crying, bawling, crying, because she lost her husband to a heart attack a day after his shot within that 2-week period, and his brother died too.
Whoa!
It was that kind of catastrophic. Like it wasn't sort of obvious. It was OMG obvious.
Right.
So I went out. I went outside. Whenever the doctor cornered me in a hallway, the doctor cornered me in the hallway after we intubated the nurse manager, watching people cry, watching all this occur. She said, "Harry, this is genocide." And I already sort of known it, like, you know what I mean? It was like I felt it, but I was like not wanting to come. You don't want to come to grips with that kind of evil.
Right.
So I went out to my ambulance bay because in that hospital, my ambulance, I would go in an ambulance and I would also come back and be in the hospital. It was a hospital congruent ambulance. And I went out there and I put the phone up to my face and I said, I'm a paramedic. I did CPR on a Pfizer line. That line lost 2 people within 2 weeks. And it got 1,000,000+ views fast. Like, you've had a video go viral, so it's weird. It's like,
Right.
it's just so fast. And then the comments started rolling in, thousands and thousands of comments. I lost my brother. I lost my uncle. I lost my mom. I lost my dad. And I was trying to answer them. Like, I was trying to talk to them. And then they took my channel away.
So was that on TikTok where it went viral?
That was TikTok. Yeah, that was
Oh,
TikTok. That was the
no.
first time.
Oh.
Yeah. That was the first time. That was the first time I was brave enough to just put my face on because, I mean, it takes bravery to actually fight against this system. This system is killing people. So, and we don't have any backup. Like, there's no backup for you and me.
What happened to that doctor from that said it was genocide?
She left. She thankfully she had a lot of money and she went to her compound and she still lives on her, like, she's still alive, she's still okay, she still lives on her compound, but she is never going to practice medicine again. Which sucks because she was a damn good doctor, like solid doctor. That's what this did though. I mean, it either runs you away or you fight.
Right.
Some of us choose to fight. I've talked to that video actually garnered me a friend. His name's Shane Jett. He's a senator out of Oklahoma. He found me on TikTok. It's weird when a senator finds you on TikTok and tries like, "Hey, you want to have a conversation?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's talk." And he's like, "Dude, they're killing us." Yeah, I'm witnessing it. So a senator talking, it's the most flooring thing whenever a senator gets a hold of you and says they're killing us.
Right.
Who's they, bro? Well, they, like all these people that I work with. And I'm like, yeah. So, but I've talked to him in depth. Like I've interviewed him, I've talked to him, and I've asked him, like, what can we do for protection? Like it doesn't pay. Like when I go on Dr. Talley's show, it's not paying me a dime to do this.
Right.
My book, not going to get me rich because I'm not speaking about, I'm not twerking on TikTok and getting rich. So,
right.
So it's just, I asked him and he was like, there's no protection, none.
Right.
You have none.
No, it's
so when I saw you, when I saw you speaking in Oklahoma, whenever we first met, I remembered walking outside and thinking, man, this little lady, such a big attitude. You have a big attitude. And this little lady standing at a Capitol, and this parking lot is huge. The parking lot was just a big parking lot. And I was thinking, where's her protection?
Yeah. Yeah.
You had none. And I applaud you for being a badass, Doc. I love you. I'm just, well, I mean, I'm going through it and I worry, I'm concerned, but you're a good person. And I thank you for everything that you do.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think you can relate. It's a lot of this is just fueled by anger, right? I know you did have some professional repercussions, right? Then they did something to you in Alaska where you tried to look at the package insert. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, I was working up at the tundra. So imagine the tundra. For those that don't know what the tundra is, one of the prettiest places in the world and also the most blank places in the world, especially when it's snowing and it's just whiteness as far as you can see. And I was supposed to take care of, at the time, I had about 15,000 people that were my city. And up there, it's a city made out of train cars. It's connexes. Because they're all oil field, natural gas type workers. And so imagine having 15,000 people in your care. You're the only paramedic at the time. For that many people. And I went in and read the package insert. Like I went into, because they sent us these, they wanted us to give the COVID shots. And I'd already at this point known, hey, these are bad. And I went into the clinic and I pulled out the package insert and I read, and all I read at that point, I think it was about pregnant women, how they haven't studied it on pregnant women. Well, we had pregnant women working there, and I wanted to give informed consent to the world, like actually give you informed consent. So I read from Pfizer, haven't studied on pregnant women. You have to go look at the video. I mean, it's there. It's still on my X account.
Mm-hmm.
And then I grabbed the package insert from Moderna, and it said intentionally blank.
Right.
And that just blew my mind. But I just showed it. I showed it. And within 24 hours, HR got a hold of me and said, what did they say to me? I was abusing my time. I was, yeah, something like that. And then they sent me a letter saying, thank you for your years of service. We're separating ways. They like, it wasn't really a fire. It was more of a shut up, go away. But they got security to come get me within
Whoa.
24 hours and flew me off from the tundra with no backup, no paramedic to cover my shift. They just flew me away. The two EMTs that flew, because the security guards there, I trained them. Like my job was to train the security to be EMTs because their security is driving all around all these places all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to have dual roles. Like they have to be there to do first responding. And I trained them. So two of the guys that I trained were, they were almost in tears whenever I got on the airplane. They were like, this is crazy. This is crazy. But yeah, they flew me off and it was snowing. It was horrible conditions and they put me on a plane.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. I know. It's actually insane. Like it makes no sense. And all I did was read a pamphlet. Like that everyone should be reading. One's intentionally blank. You can't read it. You can't. Like I don't know if Moderna is still that way, but whenever I tried to read the Moderna one, it was blank. But everyone should, like, before you take a product, you should have the ability to read the insert.
Right.
I don't understand. I do understand. It's genocide.
What have you seen kids have issues with these shots? Have you ever had to rescue a child or?
Yeah, I had a 12-year-old stroke, and I'll say her age. She was playing kickball.
What?
Yeah, she was playing kickball. No health issues. Got a call to the school, got there. She had complete deficits. Like whenever I say deficits to Doc, you know what I'm talking about when I say here. I mean, it was just, she was paralyzed on one side of her body and slurring speech, couldn't talk to me. 12-year-old.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whenever, because her mom showed up, and I was getting information like any health history, like you're getting, past medical history, pertinent past medical history, and none, healthy. And then I just asked, did she take any of these COVID shots? Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, whoa. Wow.
So yes, I've ran those calls, anything from heart attacks to strokes, Another biggie, another really big one is aortic aneurysms and dissections.
Really?
I have never seen as many aortic aneurysms and dissections since they started giving these COVID shots. Like it was rare before the COVID shots. Now, I had a kid in his 20s. I call them kids. I'm old. But a kid in his 20s come in with chest pain. He was presenting with chest pain. He wasn't presenting with the abdominal pain, you know,
Yeah.
because a lot of times you hear it abdominal pain going into your back, tearing sensation. He was having chest pain and worked him up. I was working in Oklahoma at the time and in an ER. I was contracting in an ER. And they sent him off because used to kids with chest pain, most of the time it was anxiety. It was, you know,
Musculoskeletal or, yeah.
yeah, it's not the case anymore. Like now I do an EKG on every kid that is saying they're having like 100%. Like I'm not gonna, because I've seen it too much now. Now I've actually seen kids have heart attacks, which is
Wow. Wow.
weird. Yeah. And the docs sent him off, and he came back not long after, and he was saying, you know, chest pain, and I started another IV on him, and I think, what do we do? I think I gave him fluids, did another EKG, and the docs were talking, and I went to him because I talked to this kid, and I was like, did you take any of the shots? Yes, Pfizer. And I went to the docs and I was like, hey, he took COVID shots. I've seen COVID shots actually bad. The EKG is unremarkable. His EKG didn't look bad. Like it was when I say unremarkable to the doctor, what I'm saying to the general public is his EKG looked good.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time he didn't have any wild troponin, like everything looked seemingly normal. He got to the door when they dismissed him the second time. He got to the door and died at the door of the
What?
ER. Died.
Whoa.
Literally collapsed and died. We
Oh.
worked him. We pulled the bed out, put him on the bed, compressions on this kid, and how I know he had an aortic dissection because I found out he had a dissection. He dissected, and then also it's pretty bloody. Like
Right.
it's just it's obvious. For anyone who wants to look it up, you can look it up online. But yeah, he dissected and he died at the door of the ER. I've seen more aortic dissections than I ever have before in my entire life since the rollout of these shots.
Oh, wow.
There's something to it. I don't know why.
Huh. What about pregnant women? Are you seeing issues with them?
Okay. This one pisses a lot of people off. Saw 9 miscarriages in one shift.
Whoa.
Same hospital that kid died in. 9 miscarriages in one shift. I was asking the doctors because I would ask the patients, did you take the shots? And that pisses people off. Like it makes them so mad when you ask.
Right.
And it really makes a woman who's having a miscarriage mad because understandably, like, I mean,
Implies blame. Yeah.
yeah. But someone's got to ask. Like
Right.
you got to ask. Yeah, I saw 9 It was so bad that night that I had to ask people to come and clean the chairs because the chairs were bloody because we didn't have enough room in the back, and the women were bleeding a lot. And the bleeding was something that, because I've seen a lot of miscarriages in my life. I've dealt with, a lot of miscarriages, but with the shot involvement, it almost looked like a abrupto placenta.
Right.
Like they were just massive amounts of blood. Like you needed to type and cross them really fast because they were bleeding just copious amounts.
Are the doctors cluing in on this, or are they just?
Yes.
They are.
Yeah, and then some of them just leave.
Mm-hmm.
Gone, like a friend of mine. She's just gone. And then the others, one of them, it was a PA actually. I'm just going to put my head in the sand. It's too big.
Right.
It's too big. It's a massive problem. Like, are they going to fight the system? No, I mean, they're trying to survive the system. Like most of these people are just trying to survive,
Right.
and they're too scared to fight. Like, I was on a space yesterday. I was talking to a Democrat. Don't hate Democrats. I actually leaned left most of my life. I was a liberal. I worked for the Daily Show with Jon Stewart when I was a kid.
Oh,
I was a
really?
moderator. Yeah, I was a moderator for all of his chat rooms. I moved him to Facebook
Wow.
while I was in the military. So I was literally having to hide the things I was doing online while I was in the military, and I moved that guy to Facebook when Facebook came out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird. So I'm saying that to say this. I have a liberal heart, but liberals don't like me anymore. Like liberals they've kicked me out of their party. And I can't be in it. But I was talking to one
But,
yesterday.
well, the Liberal Party has changed, I would say.
Yeah, immensely so.
Hmm.
I was talking to her yesterday, and she was telling me, what did she say? She said, I was raped. And I said, I'm sorry. I was on a space, and she was talking about being raped by a man. And I said, I want that man dead. Like, I think they should all die. And she just jumped down my throat for being that kind of honest. It's
Hmm.
true. Like, I joined the military to actually not cuddle people. Like,
Right.
so I don't know how to, I don't know how to talk to these people anymore. Um, when we can't be honest about genocide, when we can't be honest about people that are actually killing us, whenever the world is actually trying to hurt us, and we can't speak about it. Like, I can't go on TikTok and speak about it. You can find all kinds of sex, drugs, and rock and roll on TikTok, but you can't find someone who's a paramedic going, hey, I saw this, this, and this. It's a pretty jacked up world, Doc.
Yeah, it is. I mean, do you feel like we're making progress at all?
Maybe. I mean, I'm not banned on X.
Yeah, but I
Um,
bet you're if you're like me, there are people that mass report you and suppress your post. I mean, I can tell, I'm pretty sure Texas Medical Association has some sort of PR group that goes after me every time I post about them. Because any mention of them or the medical board, it just die, it just flat response.
yeah,
And you can kind of pick up on which posts, are getting reported.
yeah, they're doing that 100%. Then you have your, like, we're harassed, we're threatened. I've had pictures of my kids sent to me. Like,
Whoa,
literally, they've sent me pictures of my kids from my ex-wife's Facebook.
whoa, that is not
Yeah,
good.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, what I mean, we're that's why what you said earlier, are the doctors picking up on it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure because most of the doctors that know me know exactly what I'm telling you right now.
Right.
They just won't speak. They won't say anything. Probably because they're not dumb. Like, I mean, this is pretty stupid for me to be speaking against a system whenever senators are going, you have no protection. Um, you've been fired. Like, it doesn't. The only thing it sort of helps is I can sleep a little bit
Right.
better.
Are the injuries slowing down? Or I mean, do you still see people getting these shots and having like reactions
Uh,
pretty quickly?
most aren't getting the shots where I live in Oklahoma anymore. Most aren't. But yeah, like, I'm seeing the long term, like, congestive heart failure in people that are young, cancers. Like, okay, I'm a paramedic. Where I'm working, and I can't tell people where I work, but where I'm working right now, I can't take off work without pulling a lot of teeth because I have one that's under 30 that's already had 3 strokes that works with me.
Whoa.
And she doesn't even know. Like, I've talked to her, I've literally said, I mean, you think it's probably because of the Pfizer shots? I don't know, but if it was, I would be really mad. But she's had 3, then she has to be on blood thinners under 30. I have one that's another paramedic that is now going to have cancer surgery and probably just done with their career. I have another that had a heart attack, and that's not even talking about the ones that have been brutally just mind screwed, that have killed themselves.
Wow.
I have lost more friends to suicide, and I haven't lost one to COVID. I haven't lost a
Wow.
single friend to COVID. Not
Wow.
a single friend.
Were these
Like, not one.
what? I mean, the suicide, you think it was directly related to the COVID shots or just conditions during the pandemic?
I mean, whenever you look at the suck thing is the Japanese have been doing a whole lot about how this is going in and seemingly affect your brain. I mean, you're putting something in your body and it affects your chemical makeup, it affects your brain. And there are studies that I've looked at that says could totally be from the COVID shot. But if they're not even going to look at the heart attacks or the strokes in the young, then you're never going to prove that. Like, that's like a bridge too far. Like,
Right.
they're not even going to look at the 12-year-old that I ran.
What are the family members? What are their reactions? Like the 12-year-old's mother, was she?
50-50. Sometimes when you mention it, you can actually see how it sparks, and you can tell that they OMG, like you can tell, you can see it. And then sometimes they're complete denial.
Right.
Like, just like some get mad, but for the most part, I would say denial is the bigger one. Whenever they do actually register, though, when you can, like, whenever I do tell a husband or a wife, I've exhausted everything I could possibly do. Like the other day, I literally just another one. I'm sorry, sir. I did everything that I could for your wife. She's gone. And then the kid hit a wall and he broke his hand.
Oh gosh.
And, yeah, he literally just hit the wall. And you can tell when it's a boxer's fracture, like it just started swelling, and he was a kid, he hit a wall. And then when I asked the question, you can tell that they're mad, they're angry. I mean, in this case, it was obvious. I mean, the kid hit a wall.
Right.
So some react, and then those reactions stay with you. Like, that kid hitting the wall will stay with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. You have a hard job. I admire you for what you do, because I tell her, my job, ear, nose, and throat, it's very much, it's rare to have life-threatening conditions, and I prefer it that way. I don't like my patients dying. So I really admire you. You must see death on a pretty regular basis. And then, you have a military background, so you must be very tough.
I'm a big baby doc. I probably cry more than anybody else there. And I find it. I think it's like my dad raised me never to cry. My dad was like, can't cry, can't cry, can't cry. Hunt, fish, can't cry. And what I've realized is crying is like, sometimes you just have to cry. And I try to show that too. On occasion, I'll do a video when I'm really emotional, like I did the other night. I just was like, okay, y'all want some real shit? Game. And it's good. It's needed. Like, you should release all of this bad. Like, I can't keep it in. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he's another military guy, and I was like, man, sometimes the rucksack gets too heavy. And he was like, well, put the rucksack down. Well, that's what I'm doing with you right now. I'm giving you I'm like, okay. And I do that to God, like God. I mean, I'm not putting you on a pedestal with God, but I'm just laying it down. I lay it down at God's feet, and I just, here it is. Here's me. Here's the ugly me, the brutal everything. And anyone out there listening right now, if you're carrying a rucksack that's too heavy, lay it down. And you're not a baby for it. I got your back. I know this doctor. I know this doc right here's got your back, 100%.
Yeah,
I love you.
I went to a wedding this weekend, and I was in a remote part of Arizona with very little cell service. And I spent most of the weekend off of X. And it's amazing how therapeutic that was, just getting that little break where you're, and for a weekend, I sort of forgot all about the rest of the world. And that, it's a little different from what you're recommending, but, just taking a break from it all. And then on Monday, I was in full on rage mode and tweeted like 15 times, but it was helpful. And you have a podcast coming out, right? Tell us about that.
They just made me sign an NDA, so I'm not sure what I can say about it. But it's I will say that I was introduced by my friend Dr. Jim Thorpe, who's like one of my best friends in the world. I know you know Dr. Thorpe.
Right.
And I don't know. I think it'll be an experience. I think it'll make a lot of people mad. And I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to make a lot of people mad, and I hope you'll be on it. I hope you'll come on my show and say whatever you want, like complete. I want you to come on and just be grr.
Yeah.
I mean, this world's shutting us down, and you asked me earlier, you said, is it getting better? No. But the people are getting braver. The ones that are already brave.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, with Kennedy in office now, that we're expected to be team players. And if we're not, we get yelled at by members of our team, right? People on the same side now are upset if you criticize Kennedy, if you criticize Trump, if you're not patient, if you're not being a team player. That's a frustrating obstacle I did not anticipate.
We don't have to be team players. Like if I can't tell my brother or my best friend to go screw themselves when I don't agree with them, then you're not my best friend or my brother.
Right.
Like you can tell me whatever you want, Doc, and I'll still be like, I love her. She hated on me for this, that, and the other. If we can't do that to Kennedy and Trump, then they're not our friends. And right now, they don't look like our friends. They're shaking hands with the Albert Bourlas of the world. They're being called the masterminds. While you're having people on your show, you had, what's his name, Joe Latipo on your show, and I was like, yes, have Joe Latipo on your show. Remember a couple weeks back?
Yeah.
That guy is going, this is killing you.
Right.
And Kennedy is shaking hands with the guy that's killing you. You can 5D chess me all day long. You can literally say it's 5D chess, it's 6D chess. No, it's murder. It's murder. It's literal murder. And if you don't have the huevos to actually call it for what it is, I'm going to be picking up the bodies. I am picking up the bodies. I'm literally the one who does it. Hey, everyone out there. I'm the one who's actually having to clean up the mess that they're shaking hands about and being called masterminds about. People can't grasp that. No, it's annoying. It's annoying. I'll be kind. I'm going to be kind.
No, I love it. Keep going.
Oh, it makes me so mad because it's true. Dude, Kennedy, either you're a turncoat POS or you're going to stand up. You've said in the past that all of this is true. Like that guy, Kennedy, if you're out there listening, doubt you are, because I mean, you're a mastermind sitting at parties with champagne. Kennedy, if you're listening, you are shaking hands with demons. And people like me are exhausted. I still have my paramedic license. I've been kicked out of jobs. I can read a pamphlet that you're not reading to the entire world, and I have read it to the entire world and been ran off from the tundra. And you have a position where you could do something major. And if you don't do something major, then you're claiming war on the American public because you're destroying people. That's murder. It's murder. Simple as that. I pray for your soul and I pray for your courage. But I'm not going to fucking play anymore. I'm going to be honest. That's true. And God forgive me for cussing.
Well, what do you think is holding him back? What do you think is holding Kennedy back?
Money, power, fame, the thought process that there's nothing that can be done. What's holding all the doctors back that won't speak? I mean, it seems to be the sins are always the same. And fear seems to be the biggest driver. Like fear. Most people fear. They're afraid. What is it like? I'm pretty sure it's like 365 times in the Bible, don't fear. And most people just fear. Like they're so scared. It's either that or he worships the devil, which is possible too. I mean, I really don't know at this point. Like, I don't like going down that kind of rabbit hole, but I do believe that good exists, evil exists, and some people just worship evil. I would say if you're capable of killing this many people, then you're certainly not on the good side.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, at some point, the simplest answer is, what is it, Occam's razor? I mean, the simplest answer, some of these people are just evil. Just evil. Do I want to think Kennedy is that kind of evil? No, don't. But shit or get off the pot. Show me. Show me. Like
yeah.
he has the ability to talk to me. I've been on Children's Health Defense so many times at this, like multiple times. He won't talk to me. Why? Because I'll tell him about a 12-year-old that had a stroke.
Yeah.
I'll tell him, I'll be honest with him. Hey, this prick just called you a mastermind and he's killed all these people. So do we play politics or do we be honest?
Right. Right. It's quite.
What are you going to do, Doc? Like, what's your plan? Are you going to play politics or be honest?
Yeah.
I think you're going to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, like you, I see it every day. I mean, it's in my face every single day, the carnage from these shots. And I don't see strokes and heart attacks, but I see people whose lives have been completely destroyed. And everybody knows somebody, you know, if it's not my patient, they certainly know somebody that's either been severely injured or killed. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. I don't know how anybody could ignore it. It's just beyond belief at this point. So yes, I will continue to fight, and I'm glad to be fighting alongside you, and I appreciate all your honesty, and I'm excited about your podcast. So
I'm sorry my honesty is ugly sometimes too. Like during this conversation, my blood pressure's gotten up, my face has gotten red, I'm mad. I'm sorry.
Well, that's real. It's real. It's from the heart. I hope everybody will buy your book. You go to fishersbook.com. Is that right?
Yes.
And Harry is a wonderful follow on X if you're not already following him. Are you on YouTube?
No. No, they banned me a long time ago.
I keep trying. I just want to win. I don't know why I want to keep trying, but I keep trying on YouTube. I am going to try again on TikTok, although I got kicked off recently. just because, I mean, if we want to reach the young people, we have to get on those platforms.
I mean, I've fought it. Like, I mean, I don't even know how many accounts that they banned me on. The problem is you have to self-censor, and I don't like getting into the habit of self-censoring. I don't, and that's what I realized it was doing. Like, I could get to 30,000 subscribers or followers if I self-censored enough or did what the algorithm wanted me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't complete truth. It's close, but you're having to work against. Like, I want to be 100% honest. Like, hey,
Right.
no, I don't want to. I don't want to learn how to self censor myself.
Yeah.
No. And that's the hard part about it. That's it's a tactic. That's a smart abusive tactic. Whenever you're with someone, because I've been in an abusive relationship, when you're with someone, you can't say everything, and they hold this against you, or they're mean to you, or da da da. Dude, we're in an abusive relationship with our government.
Yeah.
Times a million.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to play into their tactics. But if you can and you figure it out, let me know.
Well, I'm on YouTube and they haven't kicked me off, and I haven't attempted to filter anything, but I'm definitely suppressed. I mean, I think the last video I posted got something like 28 views. So
your video got 28 views?
Yeah, it's really
God.
dismal. But I'm still on there. So at least there's that.
That's insane. Like,
yeah.
How many people do you have on X?
Like 609,000 followers, I think.
And you got 28 views on YouTube.
Yeah. 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 But
That's
whatever.
Abusive relationship with your government.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Harry. It was really great to, I don't think we've ever interviewed together. So this has been big fun. And I can't wait to.
Has it been really fun though, or has it been like depressing as all get out?
Well, I like your honesty. I mean, it was been helpful. So, when is your podcast starting?
Within the next couple of months.
Okay.
I'll send you the information, and within the next 3 or 4 months, if you'll come on, and I would like it. I like talking to you. Like I said, I really believe you're a warrior. So thank you for having me on. Thank you for anyone who's allowed to listen. If this is on YouTube, thank you to the 28 people that are going to be able to watch this.
Right. All right. Well, have a good one, Harry. Keep the good fight going. And thanks for coming on.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.